This is how we're starting this one, huh? My god. Yes, hello. Sorry, this one does the silly thing where if you click out, you can't hear it. There we go. Am I louder than the game? I can't tell. Actually, I literally can't tell. No. Okay. Meow. There we go. Alright. Hello. Hello, hello. I'm good, how are you? Ready up a little bit? Which is being a menace today, so, Just chilling? Good. That's what I'm doing. I'm excited. I've wanted to play more of these Fall Off Fest games all week, but I was so busy. The handle? Shut up. But yes, I made a clip channel in my Discord now. I also have popcorn. I want to finish it before I started, but not quite. Finish it later, but I'm excited. Please let me live it down. Let me live it down. I'm hoping. Hi, Leiden. Yeah, you can have some of my popcorn, Luna. I don't mind. Yeah, I'm hoping today. Yeah. Someone paid for shoes. So they have shoes. So I have to do this already. Which makes me really sad. But, yeah. I'm gonna play this one, which is called Spell Candle. And then... But yeah. So we're gonna play Spell Candle, and then after this we're gonna play Ghost of Alcantra. Hopefully. Yeah, I'm excited. We'll begin once the ads finish. I'm excited. I've been meaning to play these games. And then hopefully later tonight we can play one more. Did I spell it wrong? Oh, I did not mean to click that. You spelled it wrong. Bruh. You can't do that to me, man. You can't do this to me. Right. Well, without further ado, let's begin. Ooh, graveyard. How far are you willing to contain war in a glass dome? This sounds like an original name, but they just swapped Candace last minute for Phineas and Ferb. Real. Let's spell candle. I know how to spell candle. Candace. Candace nuts in your mouth. How many parents would you be willing to sacrifice? How many brothers would you kill? Would you grow numb to the pain? Become a zealous leader, willing to sacrifice anything for the greater good? Oh my god, Luna. A blind eye to the orphans on the streets. Ignore those disabled begging for coin. Steal, bribe, and extort for a chance at peace? He You ain't bad, but it's a perfect enough conversation with legs instead of a face. I know, right? Don't worry. I'll spawn my face back in soon, eventually. How many decisions would you be lying awake at night, counting the souls you sent to the slaughter? Can living in war for a millennia truly be considered life? Bro, I'm just sitting here. A loud whistle breaks the silence, rendering the carriage to a sudden stop. Oh! The tip of my quill shatters as it smashes into the paper before I can put it down. My next thought on the page. Oh. Got ambushed. I'm back. Identity control! Oh my god, it's the fucking police. What the hell, man? I just got here. Why am I getting arrested? What the? Hi, Chance. How you doing? You made it in. It works this time. Very, very happy. Put myself right back in, you motherfucker. Lay down now. I can't go any smaller. I can't go any smaller. Fine, we'll do it this way. Frickin' police. I mean, I could go diagonal. No, wait, I have an idea. It didn't work. My idea did not work. Okay. Nope. I cannot get this shit to work. Model too big! Model too big! Oh my god, I look decapitated. Hang on. let me fix that. Let me fix that. There we go. Now I'm not a decapitated body. Anyway, back to the game. Yeah. It was the third one today. I'm tempted to throw my hands up in frustration and scream. Me too. I was selected to be an Asian delegations reporter for this year's Dread Festival. It should be considered a great honor to be able to report on your country's political victories, no matter how small. Real. You're not. I hope you can get a ride home, Chance. But you can't expect a caged bird to sing happily. I reached into my leather satchel to find my identification documents for stepping out of my petite carriage. I feel... Ooh, what do we want? Actually, what the fuck is out here? Just a few feet ahead, an elven woman is going through the papers of an old gentleman from our contingent? Oh boy, I know that feeling. And what will do you oh, I didn't get to... Whoops. Her voice is like a sharp pointed end of an ancient spear. I am the senator representing the region of the Beastlands. The elf sniffs the air around the delegate and frowns. She's beautiful. Glimmering mercury eyes peek out from underneath short bangs of color... the color of milky quartz. Uh-oh. Her skin, like deep iron ore, glitters gently in the rays of daylight. After a very thorough read of the man's identification document, she hands them back to him without a word. I find myself nervous as the elf's long, knife-like ears twitch and her attention shift to me. I'd never seen anything like that. Her cold gaze examines me from head to toe before she reaches a hand out. Identification documents. I hand them over, and she scans through them quickly. Ooh, our name. No. No. I almost put the comp. Here's my pronouns. Damn it. Stupid bat isn't here. No. Dang. That's unfortunate. Oh, I get to pick my job. Ooh, job. Ooh. Anyway, selected by the Empire to take account of the Draft Festival article. I'm here to report on the mutual benefit of relations in our nations, bring positive piece about the culinary skills leadership, plan to record our general's involvement in foreign affairs for our newspapers. I think it's this one, right? I'm here to report on the mutually beneficial relationship between our nations. Her eyebrows raised slightly in my response. After a moment, she nods, accepting my explanation. Interesting. And your general? Where can I find him? The question perplexes me. I thought the delegation had been traveling for several weeks. I haven't encountered an infinite Shadow Master once. Had I? When seeing my bewildered expression, the elf offers a small explanation. He was not in his carriage. Oh? Perhaps he got bored of being confined in a turbulent box for days. Voice response before I can open my mouth to formulate an apology. I step back from the carriage to seek out its source. Ah, who the fuck? On the wooden roof of my small carriage relaxed one of the most beautiful gentlemen I'd ever seen. His eyes closed, his expression was so serene that I found myself wondering if I misheard him speak. Interesting. Shadow Master, may day and night preserve you. Oh, him. On the roof of my carriage, opened his eyes and leveled at the woman with a cold gaze. His eyes were the color of the flags of our empire. Oh. The color of blood and dangerous forbidden things. That Timor. I could hear the elven woman swallow from beside me so vividly, I wondered that if the world around us had fallen quiet on purpose. Crown crossed his features before he quietly sat up, slid his feet over the edge of the carriage, and jumped down with the grace of a cat. Here. He got huge titties. He pushed a stack of documents that were so thick into the hands of the elf that it made me gape. It may take you a few days. Oh. He smirked, and I wondered where he... Hi, Raven. I said the kid's a pocket large enough to hold that paper. How you doing? The elf blinked, scanned through the first few pages, then flipped to the next few with her shaky hands, her face growing paler by the second. I'm just gonna keep looking at him. I feel like he'll kill me if I look. The political leader of our delegation crosses his arm behind his back, his expression neutral as he scans the surrounding environment. I feel my breath hitch as his gaze passes over me for a split second. He'll suddenly thrust the pages back to the general, gives him a shaky nod, and thank you before wobbling off to the next carriage. Was that necessary? The man's notorious crimson gaze turns to me. He asked for my papers. He shrugged. It was my fault that she wasn't ready for what was on them. That, damn. Hell, this behavior just little to surprise me. Yeah, you should have let him know beforehand, goober. And what would I do that? His eyebrow rose in challenge, and I found myself searching for a response to give him. Because you're the Shadow Master. Oh. Think our probable elven aspects don't know which general is being sent to the city peace tribute every year? I blink at his response. That's fair. Uncomfortable silence falls over us, and I notice the way his gaze wanders down below my waist, scrutinizing me. Excuse me? A frown crosses his lips. Follow his eyes, and fuck, the inkwell I had left on my seat must have spilled in the carriage, came to a sudden halt. He's staring pointedly at a large black stain on the side of my pants. I hope you're not planning on wearing that to the welcome manner. Of course not. I suggest not embarrassing yourself for the Empire by doing so. Nothing about this man is irritating. I won't. The look he gave me was one of complete apathy. I grit my teeth. A loud, high-pitched whistle traveled from the gates ahead of us. Someone is giving us the all-clear. The clinking of metal hinges echo in the air. I take it as my sadly return to the peace of my small carriage. Hope you have a good day, General. There wasn't a single sincere word in that sentence. Real. He raised his head of eyebrows as I stepped into my carriage. Making sure to avoid the spilled ink, I turned around and shut the door in his face. A childish reaction, but the expression was well worth it. With blood pounding in my ears, I found a clean place to sit before the carriage resumed its movement shortly before entering ominous the city of candle wax. Woo! Bye, Raven. Have a good one. Capital city of the elves. I found myself eagerly peeking out through the window, making a continuous effort to forget the fact I may have just angered one of the most dangerous men on the eastern continent. My eyes wandered between the many tall buildings made of marble, adorned with golden embellishment, before lingering on the rectangular houses with roofs assembled from slabs of multicolored quartz. They're illuminated by the withdrawing river of light, the path of the goddess of day. All structures bask in the warm rays, coloring in various shades of brilliant oranges and golds. It is a breathtaking view. It looks pretty orange to me. We pass under a long archway of stone, upon which I can hear the bubbling of running water. Dozens of half-burnt candles of sundry colors and sizes sit atop each visible surface. I find myself itching to see what these streets look like at night. My thoughts quickly bring me back to the journey in my lab. Quickly, I fetch a new quill from my bag and note down my initial impressions. After several days of travel, our delegation has finally arrived in Omnis, the legendary elven capital. The gates were guarded strictly, and our official documents and identities were checked for validity. This year's Great Empire's leading envoy for the pre-celebrations of the Shadow Master. How do I want to describe this man? He sports a unique brand of charm. However, that inspires the awe of everyone around him, like a hurricane or some other horrible natural disaster. He has a way with words. I am blessed to be able to experience the elves' exaltation when around him. At least I'm not the only one terrified of this monster. We meander through the roads for another 20 minutes before the carriage comes to a final stop in front of the only building that looks terribly out of place. A tall rectangular pagoda that serves as the Eris Empire's embassy at Omnis. As I disembark, I spot the general already disappearing past the red curtains. Yeah, get out of here, buddy. He doesn't spare me a glance. Oppressive bird. Real. I'm giving a small but pleasantly furnished room in the embassy and quickly ditch my pack in there before heading out into the city. Yo, that's sick. I need to find the tailor somehow. Yeah, I need a map from the embassy. The map itself isn't as detailed as I'd like, but I can make out the names and districts of Omnis as well as a couple points of interest. I decided to take a look around the Enclave of the Gods, the area that that Earth Elves first, since I'd read so much about how lavishly they'd live. It takes me about 15 minutes of walking and skulking around weird alleyways before I found a cylindrical structure of rose marble. Two golden curtains embroidered with large designs of spool with pink string hung from around its wide open double doors. Dark letters spell out the words, "The Hour of the Golden Ones," right above the entrance of the building. The gentle strum of mandolin from inside. Is this a brothel? The gentle strum of mandolin came from inside, heart-wrenching, intense, soulful, yet somehow welcoming. I step inside, yet find myself incapable of spotting a single worker. At least not until three shadows of varying sizes shift from behind a paravan of curtains. They speak in some language I do not recognize. I'm gonna call out hello. Excuse me, I'm looking to buy. This looks nice. Well, as I hoped, I made the moving shadows pause behind the caravan. Yeah, we'll take a break for a second. For ads. A little bit of suspense right before we meet some new characters that aren't going to kill us with a stack of horrendously terrifying papers. You know? It's very pretty. I do like it a lot. I can see why it might be harder to run on like a not so strong pooter, but it seems pretty good. I like it so far. The art is gorgeous as well. Goodness. I'm so happy. Yeah, it's very, very pretty. I wonder if, like, the general's a route or if he's just kind of, like, there. If he's a route, that'd be kind of cool. I wonder if we date him, will he kill for us? Or will we be like, nah. I don't know. I also wonder if there's other routes. I wonder how many routes are in the demo. Here we go. The smallest silhouette, short and stubby, moves to face my direction. Its voice high-pitched and snippy. Oh boy. Now is not a good time. I frowned, but I wasn't about to give up that easily. I need an outfit for a party tonight at the Arisian Embassy, please. I kept my tone polite, but I knew an undertone of desperation had slipped in. I didn't want to see the general's smug expression directed at me tonight. A short silence followed, filled by only the gentle strum of the mandolin. We are very busy, and a predatory growl erupted from behind the caravan. Help her! The command rolled through the chamber with a low rumble. I felt myself tense as the tallest figure turned to face me from behind the curtain. But Natura... The growl grew louder. As you wish, Natura. Oh. The tone was reverent. Obedient. Language now fully switched to common. The parapet of curtains rustled as a short elf that looked to be within late years of his lifespan stepped out to help me. Right this way. I was quickly lay behind another small caravan. Oh. I'm Cupio, one of the designers of the Hour of the Golden Ones. Your extra hand and the look your best today. You been needing help undressing? The question caught me off guard. No. Thank you for the offer, but I'm accustomed to dressing myself. Cupio nods, surprisingly accepting of my choice. Very well then. I'll see what we have to fit your body while you disrobe. Drape yourself in the plush blanket on the Davenport if you're feeling better. Do not be concerned, we change them after each client that refuses to take it home with them. Before I can process this word, the elf has made his way outside my changing area. Oh wow. Speed. It didn't take long before several beautiful outfits were brought to me. Cupid made his mission to look everywhere, but at my bodies he delivered them and exited. His regard for my wishes put me at ease as I tried on the outfits one by one. Didn't these suit your fancy? Let's see, a racy blue and white draped dress with beautiful belt made of pearls, a conservative black cotton toga that sticks to my curves and muscles, a leather two-piece blouse with matching pants, accented with golden bracers and rings, or a ceremonial red and white robe with soaked with black embroidered sash. I don't know. You know what? Let's be sassy. We'll do this one. The breathable cotton covers my body, yet accentuates my curves that matter. The dark material brings attention to my eyes, making them pop. It's comfortable, yet eye-catching outfit that makes wearer stand out in its well-crafted simplicity. A great choice. The tailor appraises the way the item of clothing sits upon my frame. The outfit to your liking? Sure. Lovely, now please follow me to the lockbox. And now an exit through the heavy curtains to join the small elf at the pay desk. Not expecting the looming figure to push past the paraffin across from mine. Whoa! Damn, his nipples are pierced and everything! Holy shit! I find myself face to chest with a being unlike any I've ever seen before. A tall cross between man and monster with powerful body and rich skin tone. I look up at him as his eyebrows jump in surprise before his lips twist into a tameless smile. Seems like I made the correct choice. What the fuck? Excuse me? Getting you dressed. What? His voice is like a low purr, and I find my cheeks heating as he made a show of admiring my outfit of choice. Who is this sir, man? Hello? Why is his titty so big? You're stunning. Thank you? Large tail swishes back and forth behind him as he tilts his head to one side. Yeah, did you also find clothing? What? Hello. What? What I'm already wearing will suffice. Eyes wander over his Herculean Everything on this man, from his robust torso down to his powerful lion-like legs, seemed as if it should have been carved out of stone by a sculptor. I've never seen anyone casually show this much skin outside of a bedroom in my life. No, real. Are you sure? I have faith. What kind of faith? His eyes gleam, or did I imagine it? Now then, let's go sort your bill out. Give me a little chance to respond. The creature moved to stand in front of the tailor. Thank you, but that's unnecessary. I had to step even closer to the Cupio, who looked between me and the tall man, now behind me uncertainly. You always fight back then if someone tries helping you out. I know I've given him a weird look when the smile whitened, showing him a pair of sharp-toothed canines. No. The muse hum leaves his lips as I find myself wondering if that gleam from this curtain line question. What the fuck? This is a battle you need to fight. Your purchase is on me. Consider to get from the Terra of the Elves. As a tall creature crosses his arms from his chest, refusing to take no for an answer. Bruh, this is Andreas. His lion-like tail swishes back and forth as if taunting me in an attempt to refuse his kindness. This man was the Terra, the demigod leader of the city of Fides and the chosen of the Earth's element. Very important to see. And he'd just paid for the ridiculously overpriced item of clothing. For me. Alright. The intensity of his gaze lessened before he nodded towards the clothing on my body. Oh man. Pretty things suit pretty people. I wonder how it looks on my thighs. Consider it a party favor. You're a guest of the Dread Festival, right? I nod, and he gives me a brilliant grin. Then please make yourself at home in our city. Words a million people would kill for this chance echo in my mind, and I found myself smiling back at the demigod. Real. Thank you. It is my duty. Incidentally, my pleasure. Oh. Why are my cheeks heating a bit at his tone? Oh. I should be on my way. Of course. I'll be seeing you tonight then. Pick up my old clothes and my pack before bidding Cupio and the Terra the most dignified goodbye I could muster. Now, what did the way back to the embassy look like? I started retracing my steps, but quickly find myself unable to deny the itch to put words on paper over my recent encounter. Compared to the capital of the Ares Empire, the Elven city of Omus is beautiful but chaotic. The architecture I see as I walk the streets is awe-inspiring, but structure of the city itself is incomprehensible. I wonder what the spatial architects were thinking when they planned this place. Real. The urban design is amateurish when compared to the organized construction of our capital city. My thoughts then wandered to Terra of the Elves, whose warm smiles and overly accommodating sentiments. Nobody have ever covered a bill for me before purely out of kindness. I can't help but wonder what the price I'd have to pay for it in return would be. I frown and structure my thoughts on the demigod of Earth. My first impression of the Terras of the Elves is that... Man, these are both so sassy. He seems to live in his own world. If the leader of the elven faith is as naive as he is large in size, there's no surprise he is constantly busy. How much can one get done when he is constantly trying to help every single random stranger he meets? If in his prosperity he single-handedly inflates the city's entire economy, then isn't he creating a problem that only his kindness can solve? I just grow heavy with guilt over the words I put down. We've been taught to always show the strengths of our empire, throwing mud at the reputations of others in order to do so, however, has never been my favorite thing to do. I accidentally looking for my page and quill, needing to distractions from my treacherous thoughts. It comes quickly as I do not recognize the street I'm walking on. Multitasking is not always easy as it seems. The marble and quartz are lost and still replaced by simple one-floor stone tile building. One-floor stone buildings decorated with all kinds of dried plants, bones, and black velvet curtains. I can read. The street seems deserted as the air feels oppressive. Like the other parts of town, soft lavender and green candles lay lit around the street as though there's heavy darkness here that dims all other colors and needs to be warded off. Silence stretches over me in a way that has me glancing back at my shadow. I don't know why, but this place reminds me of some of the worst moments in my life. Passing of my late parents, a terrible breakup with an abusive ex, a near-death experience I suffered through, the loss of friends in the yearly wars. To near death. An unforeseen medical condition I had a chance not to survive. Fortunately, I recovered, but I get a shiver every time I recall it and how close it brought me to the brink. I recall the darkness I passed out, the concerned faces all around me, how weak and pathetic I felt during my recovery process. I take a deep breath and focus on the teachings of the Ares Empire, the way to fight back the demons that attempt to conquer you. I need to keep myself occupied and focus on the things at hand. I need to take everything step by step. Go back and trace my steps. I turn back around, attempting to recall the turns I made and the features of the buildings I may have noticed. Nothing sticks out. There's no landmark that lead me to or that my eyes recognize. Haven't I already been on this street? I feel as though I'm being watched. I find myself constantly glancing around at the vacant windows and empty street corners. A cold chill climbs up my back as I reach a few doors without windows or candles. Was this elven magic or all just in my head? Was someone playing tricks on me? When I stop to readjust my pack, I feel something wet hit my forehead. Oh, rain! The darkening skies up above surprise me, and I have barely a moment to blink before I'm caught in a downpour. Uh-oh. The rain is so heavy and cold that if I don't hide somewhere quick, I'm sure to be sick during tonight's banquet. Shit. At this rate, my notes will be ruined. Break into a run looking for shelter for the downpour. The only place I managed to find on short notice is underneath a small staircase. I'm forced to squeeze in underneath, pulling my feet into my chest. I like the rain. I always found it calming. The pitter-patter of the raindrops against any surface could easily put me to sleep. With a downpour like this, it seems the sky itself is crying. For the first time in my life, I found the sky's unruliness almost unfair. By force of habit, I find myself closing my eyes and listening to the sound of raindrops as they hit the cement. I breathe in the petrichor and allow the familiar smell to calm me. Despite my feelings, I find my earlier unease evaporating, melting away with the minutes. Oh my god, dog! As the sun the bark, I find a small puppy tilting its head at me. When I blink again, however, I find I must have imagined it. Oh, what the? What stands before me instead is a tall man dressed head to toe in black. His four eyes are startling green, greener than the purest jade. Somehow, he sticks out from within the gloom of the surrounding environment, perhaps because of the lit white candle that gleams in the lantern he holds up towards me. He surveys me silently, unbothered by the rain falling from the sky. His gaze lingers a bit too long on my ears. I sound like an exasperated scoff escapes him before he moves his cape to one side. It takes me a moment to realize he's offering to share. Come on. I'm not sure how I managed to hear the voice so gentle above the downpour. Let's get you out of this rain. I should refuse. Something about about strangers in danger. However, this man in his calm, gentle presence reassured me of my safety in a way no one else ever had. Perhaps it was magic? I don't trust this. And did it truly matter if I was bespelled, if I managed to get to the banquet in time? If not, I moved quickly from beneath the cold staircase to under the unfamiliar man's cape. I'm pleased to find it's much warmer and larger than it looks. I assume you are an ambassador of the Air's Empire. Once again, I'm surprised I can hear him. Something of the sort. His gaze lingers on me for a moment too long. Though he says nothing, he reaches his lantern forward and I gather that we should move. The streets are accumulating water at such a pace that the sewage system does not seem capable of handling it. At first, I do my best to avoid the gathering puddles and streams of water, carrying away dust and grime. Though the task is difficult and my feet should be soaked through the shoes and socks, I'm surprised to find that I don't walk into the puddle. I walk over them. As though an invisible barrier has been created between myself and the cold water accumulating on the streets. When I glance back at the man leading me, I notice that the rain bounces away from him. Yeah, how the fuck? I ask him. The cloak's enchanted. Oh. That makes sense. I've never experienced the effect of magic item before, and I can't help but be a little awestruck at the revelation I was almost wearing one. They were pretty rare back in the Air's Empire. He tilts his head back. He tilts his head towards the sky as if attempting to gauge if it will cease raining soon. Then sighs. I apologize. Once again, it takes me a moment to catch his voice. I find how easy it is to miss. It's alarming. Are you apologizing for the rain? Yes, it appears Aqua chose the opportune time to throw a tantrum. Oh, it's caused by like a god. Okay. I feel the cogs clicking away in my head. Does it rain just an ominous or all around quail and gular when he's in a bad mood? Oh! Hello, Maibu! Welcome in! Hello, Raiders! I'm Hayami Kuriyami. It's nice to meet you. Welcome in. We're playing Spell Candle for the Steam Fall in Love Fest. Hello! Ah, shit. No, there's an ad. No. I'm so sorry. Hello, everyone. It's so nice to meet you. Bam. How was stream? What were you guys doing? Spell Candle is very good. I like it a lot. It's very interesting. The art is gorgeous and the plot seems to like be very thick with mystery. I like it a lot. Ooh, how was it? I think I saved it. How was it? It's entirely up to him. The music is very good too. I did save it. Let's go. Story is good plus fairies. I'm gonna have to try it. I love me a good game with fairies in it. Do all element aspects have the ability to affect the weather? I feel his gaze resting on me for a brief period. No. We are the most unlucky ambassador ever. Oh. We're so unlucky. At least not without the help of spell candles. Oh my god, I said the name of the game! I raise an eyebrow at the man as he guides us into a turn that leads us out of the basic rocky building district. What are spell candles? A few seconds pass by without an answer, and I wonder if the cloak almost seems to grow heavier around me. Uh-oh. A way to preserve pure elemental magic. And the magic is released when the candle is burned? Yeah, is that why there's candles literally everywhere? I spot the smallest of twitches in the corners of his mouth. Oh, well. What's a sassy expression? Oh my goodness. Aren't you quite the astute student? Oh my. I find myself smiling back at him. Our kind light them whenever they require magic they do not naturally possess. Oh. Uh-oh. The red candle is to light the fires at home and warm a room. The blue candle is to summon and control weather. Or water. I can read. The effect to which anyone can use these candles depends on their magical ability, of course. But I think you get the gist of it. You sound like a bad idea. The curve of his lips softened than his features for a split second. I find myself staring longer than is appropriate. Yeah, how did the aspects impose control on them? Wait, how did... So wait, if you have no magical energy and you light this candle, do you just like... Does the candle just not light? The male beside me raises an eyebrow as the rain continues to avoid hitting his lithe features. The more I stare at him, the more I find myself at peace. His calm voice reaches me once more, and I find myself probably just as surprised at his response as he is at my question. Spell candles are a commodity we aim to make available for every household. If we applied any serious control to them, then that would be like rationing the air your people breathe. Air? I'm not sure I understand the comparison. I mean, I kinda get it. There we are. Just wants to make magic more available to everyone. The male stopped suddenly and turned towards me, his tall frame towering over me as he lifted his lantern towards the entrance to the Reason Embassy. Loud percussion, the whistle of a flute, and a mandolin rang through the air, showing off that the festivities had begun. And I was late. I'm embarrassed to admit I was so focused on the intriguing man before me to notice we'd arrived. Me too. Thank you. I mean, he is very handsome. No thank you is necessary, be assured. He motioned for me to go ahead with his free hand, so I just nodded, turned on my heel, and walked into the embassy in a hurry. Oh, the rain didn't go away right away, so I thought that it was raining in the building for a second. The music was much louder inside, accompanied by the smells of various sizzling meats and the bright light of hanging chandeliers. Water, earths, and death elves moved around in wild circular dances, dressed in such finery that I found myself thankful that Tara had interfered on my behalf at the store earlier. Oh, hey, speaking of Tara. Music's a bop. All of these games have had such fire music. Like, holy crap. I think that's been one of my favorite parts about the game so far is, like, the music. Oh shit, okay. Oh, I'm gonna settle back down. I thought it was gonna pick up a little. It's good so far. I really like the art. The character designs are also very, very cool. God, the music is so good. Oh, yeah, paint. Oh, it's just Wordle! Wordle, leave me alone. I'm playing a visual novel. Oh, man. I'll do that later. I'll do Wordle later. Keep getting distracted by how good the music is. Boom, 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 boom. Though I spot him in the room, I find that he's engaged in conversation with some of the senators from our empire, full goblet in hand. Oh man, he drinking. A few few paces away from him, my eyes meet with the infamous crimson hues of the general, who seems to have stopped whatever he was doing to size up my outfit. Yeah, looking weep, brother. Looking weep. Irritation bubbles up in my throat as I find myself quickly pivoting towards the drinks table. A large wine fountain, adorned with lit silver candles, quickly catches my eye, and a polite elf pours me a goblet upon noticing my approach. How do you know it's for me? I take the cup with a smile, but I'm momentarily distracted from drinking. Oh, is there a pretty lady? I hear a series of loud gasps echoed from somewhere before a slick, tangible voice cuts through the music like a hot knife through butter. I told the pirate lord that if he's not willing to go to war for my love, he doesn't deserve me. Who? And then I sank his ship to the bottom of the bay. A series of exciting whispers and murmurs follows a ridiculous explanation carrying the electric atmosphere that supports all form of gossip mongering. Momentarily distracted, I can't help but search for whoever is the source of this ambience. Frankly, even if my sister and brother were on the marriage market, I doubt they'd be able to impress. Oh, so they're just a bitch. Then again, feel free to bring it up with stepmother dearest. I'm sure she'll be thrilled to finally get a morsel of attention. My feet move automatically as if charged by scandal carried of every sentence of whoever was speaking. I find I'm led to a section of the embassy floor transformed into a lounge by large chases, silk curtains, and burning incense. Many gorgeous elves are piled on top of comfortable pillows, lazing around in eye-catching outfits, yet when my eyes land on the male sprawled in dead center of the crowd, I find myself suddenly flustered. Oh, that's a man! I thought that was a woman from the title. That's a man. That's a handsome man. Okay, I think I know which guy I'm picking if we're able to. Everything about this man makes me want to do double and triple takes. Long hair, glistening in the candlelight as if wet in the bright pink makeup, the outfit that I'm sure would look unseemly on anyone else in such a formal environment. However he is, he commands the space behind these curtains as though he owns it, and he might as well, considering the way hungry gazes of his entourage follow each breath he takes. No, real. No, sweetheart, no matter how much money your father offers her family as a dowry, trust me, she won't marry you. He sounds so utterly bored with the topic that I almost believe he isn't reveling in the attention he's receiving. Oh, he's spoiled. Never mind. His large smile says otherwise. Everyone knows marrying for love is far superior to marrying for money. His gaze landed on me and a smile widened. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Wouldn't you agree? Full of attention dropped upon me so suddenly I found myself desperate to get rid of it. Oh my goodness. Marriage for money is better, marriage for love is better. I don't believe in marriage. I don't give opinions on other people's relationships. Can't people have both? No, I'm gonna say for love. Fuck you. See, my darling, there's no market value one can name when it comes to the hand of another in eternal matrimony. That is if love truly grips them both. I've never understood marrying for money. Like, you get free tax breaks when you get married anyway, so why get married for money? A chuckle escapes the beautiful man before me, his gaze still on me with such intensity that I actively have to remind myself not to fidget. His eyes just gleam? Excuse me, sir? It seems this foreigner is already more intelligent in matters of the heart than you are, Leopold. I feel myself wince as the fierce glares directed by the Leopold in question. Uh-oh. Perhaps they're also interested in the matters of flesh as well. Oh, no. I was walking when I'd heard that comment directed my way. I'd tripped. How entirely inappropriate. The cytochromic eyes slid over my form. Hi, Nova! Time for us to go into this, like, romance debate with this hot merman. The return I plan never leaves my mouth. You're just my type is crazy! Excuse me? Why are they trying to fuck me at like a political party? This bold proclamation wipes the remark clean from my memory and I can only stare at him completely dumbfounded. cheeks flush as he spreads 2 fingers in front of his lips. I don't know, but I'm scared. Why is he making sexual like remarks towards me? Don't put your fingers between your lips. No. Feel free to stop by my room. Like, oh, I highly doubt that'd be appropriate. Aqua of the Helms. Hello. Yeah, I don't understand, man. I don't understand. Embarrassment is quickly slipped under the rug. The attention of the room instead drawn to the general, who'd move in front of me. His demeanor remains cold as always. Yoink. Bro, this murderous brat is actually doing something other than being sassy? Damn. Ah, the Shadow Master. The beautiful man before me finally moves to stand in front of us. I had an inkling that the male before me had to be influential, but I had just been propositioned by the aspect of water. It is rude. You really are a jobless jester. Anyway. My brain blanched as I pondered how to put it down in my journal. But yeah, today's the day. Yeah. Guys, there'll actually be visuals to my bits now. The bits will be visual. You can see where I'm putting things in the tier list. There's stupid things ahead. I've heard a lot about you. The Aqua did a quick circle around the general, eyeing him with unabashed curiosity. The man without a heart, was it? Burp. Yoink. Real. Care to dispel that rumor? Ignoring the bold flirtation of the demigod before him, the general's crimson eyes glanced in my direction briefly. I ask you to refrain from distracting our balefire-mandated political journalist from doing her job. I find myself stifling upon hearing the mention of the Ares Empire Grand Capital. Ooh. Aqua's attention slid over me again, lingering on the authorized notebook I was given to put my notes down. I make no promises. Damn, why are you flashing your tail like that? You. It's a festival, General. Relax. What if I go to his room later anyway? Moved an amphibious hand dismissively. In fact, here's his voice in a way that carried his words around the room. I propose a toast. I don't want your toast. Another goblet of wine is pushed into my hands by a servant so quickly that I suspect the Agua of the Elves has a habit of making toasts. Though the room is buzzing with excitement, it is quiet enough to hear a pin drop. Beside me knows the general giving Agua a withering glare. To the Ares Empire stood behind us thousands of winters. He raised a silver goblet in the air. May our festival once again nourish the millennium alliance between our two nations, so that we may stand together against the coming horrors anew in the 8 months. Trust! I'd like that the word is echoed around the room and everyone erupts in cheers before drinking their cups. Fuck it, we drinking! I take a sip of wine, I'm thrown up at the dry, slightly salty taste it carries. Saltwater wine. Let's in the room see if anyone shared my reaction, but it seems I'm alone in my confusion. The festivities around me have resumed in full force, and the swell of the flute leading to most elves that were gathered round Aqua into an unfamiliar folk dance. They bounced around the room in couples, laughing and dragging the occasional senator into their steps. It's wild and lively, and antithetical to the structural festivals we hold back at Balefire. Sorry, some of these words are really. It's an acquired taste. The wine, I mean. Surf grape, they call it in a more. Oh, it's Terra! A familiar voice comes from behind as I turn and I come face to face with the giant frame of Elves Terra. Long time no see, Princess. Princess. It's good to see you as well, Terra. Planning to take Aqua up on his offer? Takes me a second to clue in what he's asking. He seems to worse trouble faster than the wine at the Elven capital. I'll be doing my job. Thought so. Part of me wanted to ask him what he meant considering the smile, but I find my attention occupied by Aqua. He led a complex folk dance with ease and confidence, his long hair swaying behind him, a mesmerizing head of the revelry. Our stoic general followed through the motions beside him, as though he'd done this many times before. The general does not look pleased. The general looks so pissed to be here, man. It looks like he'd have more fun cleaning. Shit! My thoughts exactly, Tara. I stifle a laugh behind the hand and glance up at the shrugging demigod. Am I wrong, though? No, I'm gonna agree with you. I can't help the smile that cracks my well-structured mask of professionalism. I don't have to do anything more than earn myself a pleased expression from the elven demigod. His gaze shifts behind me and I follow the lone figure leading up a wall against the embassy's entrance. Oh! Oh my god, holy shit, he got animal ear. My guide from earlier, with his hood down. I'm starting to see a pair of long, lupine ears shifting atop his head. Does he have a tail too? Mors Mortis, the aspect of death, the last demigod of the waking elves. Oh, so death saved us. How ironic. He's watching the dance unfolding around the embassy floor and seems to be restraining himself from joining it. Is he gonna kill someone if he does? Tara nudges me with his elbow. You can invite him to dance, you know. I'm startled by the suggestion. No steps, don't you? I nod slowly. I do? I wouldn't be allowed on this job if I didn't. Well, what are you waiting for? Look at Tara's words, suddenly feeling encouraged to try something new. This could be a great feature to put into the journal because we have to home. We can pick our route. You know what? I want to see how fucked up this gets. It takes little effort to find the man in question, leading a line of dancers to a tune traditional to our empire. He twists his hips with every other step, a smile on his face as flowy dress tails the air after. He's bewitching, and I know I'm caught staring when our gazes meet. I quickly have to look back at Tara, who I find grinning down at me. Oh. I see someone else has caught your eye. What? No. Come on. I can protest. I'm dragged to the hub of all attention by the Androsphinx. It's difficult to make out the words exchange between their general and the aspect of Earth, but a couple breaths later I find myself taking his place holding Agla's amphibious hand. Fuck it, we ball. The rhythm begins to carry me through the steps as I follow Agla's lead with ease. No matter where I am, I've danced this traditional song so many times that I could probably perform it with my eyes closed. I can't help the smile that slips onto my face. I thought you despised being the center of attention based on our earlier interaction. I do despise it. And yet here you are anyway. The music shifts to a more folkloric tune, his body suddenly twists, turning the bass line. Oh boy. I catch a sparkle in his eyes as the cello replaces the flute and leading instrument percussion begins pounding through the air, stirring the adrenaline in my veins. Ooh. The Agla leads us around over a couple of low chassis, and I find myself having to concentrate on my feet in order to not trip. Keep up, my dear. Oh boy. I barely have the time to respond as he lifts his other hand mid-step and snaps his fingers. My next breath, I feel the air in the room suddenly grow humid, the candles dim, and glittering mist fills the room. Oh god. Turning the setting much more intimate. Uh-oh. Excited murmurs mingle with the intense music as the demigod of water leads our line of dancing elves and mortals to the center of the hall. I don't like this. Hold on. A split second to react to his word. Holding on. In a split second I have to react, I grab his hand, a firmer hold as he flicks a glittering silver candle we pass by in the dim room. A gasp leaves me and suddenly my perspective shifts. I find myself taller? No, higher. My feet are climbing an invisible staircase in the air until we're dancing and twirling above the heads of all those looking. I can barely make anyone else out in the darkness of the room. Agla, however, is luminous in the darkness. As he turns to face me, I find myself holding my breath. Damn. Like a siren, the drops of water stick to his skin, reflecting the light of the room, making it difficult not to stare. His smile brightens, I feel my cheek flush. This is a good look on you. Wet and breathless. Wow. You can't say stuff like that. I can do whatever I want. From this point, he shifts a hand over my waist, pulling me close a few beats before the song comes to an end. I catch a scent. It's an odd combination, peppery, floral, and sweet. Quick gulp escapes me as we begin descending back towards the tiled floor of the embassy hall. While the drop isn't terribly fast, I'm so surprised that I wrap my hands around the demigod's arms, desperate not to fall. He laughs, the dolt, and as I'm about to snap, completely having forgot where we are, the floor explodes with applause and the light returns back to the room. The humidity is gone with my next breath. Unlike the man whose arms I'm standing in, he moves a damp strand of hair behind my ear and leans closer, tilting his head to one side. Oh man. I raise my hand to stop him from moving closer and watch as he gracefully pulls back. Yeah, I don't want any trouble, bro. Humor makes his way into his gorgeous face. Ever. What a horrible way to live. If you keep giving trouble a try, you'll learn to rejoice in the festivities rather than fear them. How about that invitation? Oh my god. I was curious. I'm gonna find out. I want to find out. What an adventure! Very interesting out of 10. Oh man. How eventful already. Oh boy, oh boy. If it gets too raunchy and I turn it off, it's gonna be really funny. Oh man. I really want to see what happens. I want there to be like something and then like the general bursts in and is like, "You motherfucker!" I'm hoping it's something like that. That would be so funny. That would just be so funny. Just like the Timmy Turner on the bed meme. Please let that happen because it would be so fucking funny. Oh man, I'm ready. I'm ready to learn about this invitation. He can't be bothered. I called it! Hold on. General cuts into the conversation with a glare in Agla's direction that gives me goosebumps. Instead of being frightened, however, the aspect of Water's gaze simply flickers between the shadow mastering me quickly before a smile curls upon his lips, as though he's seen his opponent fall into a complex trap of game of chess. Uh-oh. Oh, but General, shouldn't you let your subjects decide for themselves whose bed they spend the night in? Oh my god. Our great nations have such simple benefits about how the physical and mental health are strongly related to. She's part of a political delegation, Angla. She's not being paid to be your bed warmer. Damn. The part and Lova give me strength. Yes, and I'm not supposed to be very accepting of murderers walking around in our capital. I'm making this gesture towards you, am I not? Damn! Called him out directly. I am so stunned that I have the urge to go knock on wood somewhere. This is a nightmare. It has to be. Think you know what? Oh my goodness. I clear my throat. That is all, then I should be heading to my chambers to prepare for tomorrow's opening ceremony. I pat myself on the back and both their annoyed gazes turn to me and I don't flinch. Any journalist serious about their job would already be resting. I give the general my brightest smile. My thoughts exactly. Now if you'll excuse me, I wish you both a pleasant evening. Please don't burn down the embassy while I'm sleeping inside. The general gives me a curt dismissive nod as I turn on my heel. My uncle gives me a heavy charged look that I have to make a mental note to forget. Lest I want to experience a very specific kind of dream tonight. Oh. Damn, he really was going to. Holy shit. Damn. I quickly reach my room. The inside is small but luxuriously furnished, showing off what I already knew. The Earth's Empire spared no expense for its diplomats. I find myself glaring at the unnecessarily mahogany desk and the silk robe hanging from my dresses. The comfortable bed, warmed by the red candle lit beside it. The redundant opulence of the unsweet bathroom with the heated floors and the scented soaps. Oh my god. As high as I sink into my bed, journal in hand. Pushing my annoyance aside, my thoughts drift, taking me through the day. So far, I find all this to be grandiose. Or not, I'm describing the giant marble pillars and colorful quartz rooftops of the city's buildings. Perfectly coiffed shrubbery, the strong scent of roses, the gorgeous crawling plants that must have taken decades to reach the heights they currently hold. I smile as I recall the soft hanging silk curtains bathed in the golden light of dusk. Next, I find myself focusing on the welcome festivities I've just been a part of. Highly political, ridiculously kinetic, terribly exciting. They are quite the special experience. They were terribly exciting. Still recall the feeling of my pulse in my throat from earlier, the proof of living. Novel places bring new experiences. By allowing yourself to step away from what you know, you can discover the joys of what you've been missing out on. Conversations with unlikely strangers can sometimes be inspiring. Dancing with them can lead to some serious introspection or joy. The gift of life has many layers. We only need to have faith in our own choices in order to peel them back. I find myself smiling when I think of... You know what? Let's be a little shit. Fuck the journalism. I'm gonna make it my mission as much as the demo allows to see if I can... I am going to fuck the fish. The beautiful magic Leviathan demigod of water, the youngest aspect leader of a more elven city of love. There was very little information about him, but I hadn't expected a flirty brat that parades his newly acquired status in front of a clique of gossip mongers. I wonder what else I could put down in respectable terminology. What had he done that rattled me so? Ugg was like young love. He is bold like desire and fearless in the pursuit of his interests. He wears power and attention as though they are simple rings on his webbed fingers. He acts as though he can receive anything he desires. And simply on the belief makes me jealous of my own inability to reciprocate that freedom and love. Not the weeks of travel were finally getting to me. Put away my journal and try to get some rest. To survive in the Ares Empire, you need to love it. Or you need to be very good at pretending to do so. The delegation was ready to depart the Central Plaza at 7:30 a.m. Sharp. Systemized like apothecary bottles, not a single soul dared to be late under the general's scrutiny. As if yesterday's chaotic revelry was a dream we'd all conjured up in our sleep. But the outfit on my body was proof enough, considering I had nothing else decent to wear. The elven diplomats meant to escort us to the location of the Dread Festival's opening ceremony arrived at exactly 7:35. Uh-oh. The Shadowmaster greeted them after finishing the steaming contents of his cup, but they laid the... Oh. I soon found myself uncertain as to why his posturing was necessary. Central Plaza at Omnis is exactly a 3-minute walk from the embassy. That's really funny. Be here at 7:35 sharp, and then they walk like a couple minutes. So ridiculous. Why didn't they just meet at the plaza then? When we are early to the ceremony, the open space is packed with elves in various elemental inclinations and ages. Several large stone coffins held together with heavy locks and star mail chains lay arranged in a neat line at the heart of the square. A giant cauldron of bubbling wax levitates peacefully above each one, and I quickly spot the seven lit silver candles held by Mors Mortis. Why did I want to read his name as Mort? I think it's because of yesterday. Though Terra and Aqua are nowhere to be found, the aspect of death seems personally to be attending the festival's preparation. He appears calm as he runs his fingers over the flames of the braziers, heating the cauldrons, earning exciting whispers from the gathered elves and senators. I find myself wondering if it hurts, or if he's touched fire so many times he's grown numb to it. For a second, his eyes meet mine across the fields of delegations and we step toward a designated iron. I'm gonna smell him. Surprise skips over his features, like a pebble before sinking underneath the perfectly constructed political smile he'd offered our delegation. Or so I expected. Instead, his expression remains the same. He offers a cool, calculated bow. Welcome, esteemed general and delegates of the Ares Empire, to this year's Dread Festival opening. Thank you, Aspect of Death, for hosting us again this year. The Shadow Master returns to the sentiment with a curt bow of his own. What a lukewarm exchange. Oh my god, why are they clapping? I'm not certain exactly what's happened between these two, but I do not have any time to dwell on it, for Uncle and Terra's arrival breaks the tension and turns into chaos. Oh boy. As if wherever those two appear, location turns to the stage sets for a spectacle. A stark contrast to the elves' indifference towards Mor Mortis and the quiet curiosity about the general. Fish! The aspect of water carried himself as he owned not just the attention of the crowd, but also the ground we walk on and the air we breathe. Real. It's almost rude how beautiful this man is, although the gods had forgotten themselves when creating him. When he spots me staring, his lips curves to a smirk so ferociously gorgeous that I fear my own thoughts. Thanks to the water gods, Terra spoke up when he did. Esteemed guests of the Empire, allow us to once again welcome you to our lands as we commemorate the end of another winter. Terra moved to stand beside the now quiet Mor Mortis. There is no greater honor for us and our people to call you and yours by the terms allies. For every time we've called, you have answered. Whenever you've been in need, we've delivered. It is so good we have stated off evil. Through your gods and ours. Listening to the eloquence of the aspect of Earth, I am quickly reminded that, as the leader of the Elven City of Faith, Terra also holds the title the head of all Elfic religion. Oh. Okay. Aqua speaks next, a hand on his heart. Our bond has lasted for a millennia. A marriage against darkness. This commitment immortalized when we sealed away the 7 scions and will continue to hold again today. On this first dawn of the Dread Festival, we vow to once again keep them at bay. His voice pours me towards him like a sailor to a siren, but it is Mortis' tone that brings me back. That makes me stop and listen. From flesh to wax, from wax to life, every year the eternal war takes from us those we hold dear. And with what is left of them, we seal away chaos, anger, harm, loneliness, sorrow, hunger, and plague. And take up with us until next winter. For it is through faith that we hold the lines, and through love that we stand united, and through hope that we keep fighting. Let those we love shield us once more from the dangers we've forgotten. Breathe in and take your time to pray. Peter's command echoes to the air, rendering the thousand of elves gathered on their knees. As for ritual, our delegation is the first to walk up to the braziers of bubbling wax and silently thank those who gave their lives for ours. The general goes first, murmuring thank yous in both our language and that of the elves. Though I can't see his face, I find his tone to be gentler than any I've heard from him before. I go last for my delegation. Yeah, I'm gonna think about those I lost. Deep pain gripes me. I know it stems from the emptiness that once was now no more. I reach for the first cauldron. I thank the people, the elves, who gave their lives for peace in both languages. Then I move on to the next cauldron and do the same, and the next, and the next, and the next. It's considered a great honor to be able to come this close to the dead again. Once our delegations have finished paying our respects, the elven aspects follow. The 3 move in perfect tandem, and by the time Mor Mortis is finished, the rest of the elven population Omnis is already in silent tears. Poor. Mor Mortis orders after a moment of silence. The 7 cauldrons obey Mor Mortis' command, slowly moving to tip over. Wax begins hitting the coffins one by one, resealing them under the watchful eyes of the elven aspects and their people and their delegation. Oh shit, get down! The words shatter through the silence. Barely have the time to process, the familiar voice before the ground underneath my feet gives. For a second, I think I am blind. The world has turned pitch black. I think I smell something burning. Then, daylight breaks through, bringing back my senses. My sense of sight, my knees are bleeding. I blink as I try to get my bearings, as through the sound has ceased to function. Make out that some of the senators are beside me cowering. What happens if I get up? These 5 sentinels about the general kneeling next to where I was, and aspect shuddered. About protecting their people with their various elemental powers, the goddess of chaos has escaped. My eyes shoot the direction of the pale marble coffin, the last one to be sealed, now empty. I hear murmurs and whispers from the gathered elven crowds. The words are undecipherable until General's crimson gaze fixed towards the onlookers who were only described as wild fury. They finally decided to conquer us too. Betrayers. Scoundrels. My blood chills when I realize the only possible culprits would be close enough to the cauldrons. I realize it is at dawn as the aspects at the same time his altar isn't turned to face us. The word season suddenly sounded like a phrase from a banned horror novel. The elven crowds had disappeared and told her to return their homes until curfew. Meanwhile, we were roughly pulled to a standing position in front of the aspects. While Terra and Agwa's expressions are unreadable, Lord Mortis looks dangerously calm. General, there's one reason why we mustn't lit your delegation and send you back to the Emperor to announce the dissolution of our alliance. You have no proof. Smith's ability remained an egotistical bastard, and even standing before these three demigods, almost attractive. Almost. Nobody else stand close enough to the braces in order to tamper with them. General falls silent, and I realize exactly what he's saying. I see more Mortis' friend murderous as he reaches the same conclusion. My thoughts suddenly dim as the primal extension of fear sinks into the claws in my back. How dare. Let's hold an investigation then. Uncle smiles nonchalant, but something in his tone gives me pause. They don't think it's me, right? More Mortis narrows something table guide of water. Everyone present is a suspect. I don't know why the three unitary demigods suddenly look so divided. Terra, much to my surprise, is frowning, his tail flicking around, his arm crossed in front of his chest. Very well. More Mortis' four Jade's eyes wander between the members of our delegation and the surrounding guards before landing on the general. Name your investigator, Shadowmaster. You get one, and only one. Oh no. What? Why me? I jumped to my feet as all eyes turned to me. Sure. You catch a glimmer in Terra's gaze as though the aspects argue in the general's choice. Aqua's smile widens as I find myself looking away, needing to escape all of this attention. The festival lasts 7 days. This is how long you have to get your truth. The unspoken, if you fail, remains a silent implication that hangs over my head like a guillotine for the next week. Day 1. I return to my room and find my fingers are gripping my journal so hard they're shaking. I have to get it together. Desperately. I can sense how overwhelmed I am with fear. Had it been winter, I likely would have already turned to some mindless goal and fallen prey to the sword of a soldier. I've taken a deep breath, then exhale. I repeat this simple motion several times until my brain has enough oxygen to function again as it should. Who do I investigate? You. I wasn't sure if it's because Mortis had called everyone present subject, but I found myself diligently studying Agua as he sat on the chair in front of my work desk. A very ornate chair that hadn't been there until right before I asked for the aspect of water to stop by for questioning. It was carved of some expensive wood, packed with comfortable cushions, and sparkled with pearls of various colors and sizes. This motherfucker brought his own chair to the interrogation room. Bitch, sit on the floor! I see from the man who lounged on the top of it as if he was the king of the world. Legs crossed, chin propped up on one hand, he offered me a lazy smile to make something in my chest with. He was perhaps the most beautiful man I'd ever seen. It was annoying to no end. Should I summon a painter? He seemed so fond of staring. My cheeks flushed and I cleared my throat. Glancing down at my journal, I found it logical that I started off by asking the following questions. Yeah, why were you late? Aqua scoffed at my question. I am late only if you go by the words of Mortis. If anyone else had organized the Dread Festival this year, they wouldn't have said a word. Others can organize the festival? Of course, it's a rotating duty between all aspects. It just so happened that this year's Butcher fell on Mortis' shoulder. Yeah, how would it be different? I have no clue. I was dedicated to the task of organizing your arrival banquet, so I was fully focused on that. No wonder it's so lavish and chaotic. Yeah, do you notice anything unusual happening before? Not really. I was too busy sleeping off a hangover after a long night of enjoying the revelry I had helped your embassy throw. His voice dipped into the softer, more melodic tone. I truly was ashamed that you couldn't stay. Yeah, how long into the night did it continue? Oh no, I didn't stay for the whole thing. Why not? I found a better use of my time. The stone dipped to something softer as I ascertained that pure raw heat that could only mean one thing. I nodded, my cheeks no longer down as bright as his eyeshadow. Bruh. I raised an eyebrow at my question. While I was thrown at the deep end, I wouldn't go about attracting the attention of the sharks. Yeah, wait, why is he threatening me? Oh, man. Interesting. Yeah. I wasn't expecting to go the route of, find who done it or die, but you know? Not bad. I'm placing my bets that it was probably Terra. I don't know, man. Maybe it's the fact I played Kingdom Hearts, but motherfuckers named Terra usually go to the dark side sooner or later. Don't know. I don't know. Well, let's see. It's also the demo, so there's a chance we won't even know at all. I wonder how long the demo goes, actually. I'm excited to find out. But yeah, why is he threatening us? The fuck? Excuse me, sir. Why the hell are you threatening me? What the heck? He left his door and asked something terribly amusing. His different colored eyes glittered like sea glass. Eurasians are always good at looking for a reason for an argument or a fight. Do you know a lot of reasons? A few. And that's enough to draw up such conclusions? Perhaps. I do my best not to roll my eyes. Yeah. Who do you think is responsible? This time, Aqua sighed as though my question has seriously inconvenienced him. He crossed one leg over the other and glanced at the shape of his nails. Only someone who benefits from the release of a child of chaos would go through the trouble of freeing them. My thoughts instantly drift to Ignis, Air Spiritus, the corrupted counterparts of the leaders of the enemy side who eternal war, the sleeping army's commanders. Without omniscience walls, there shouldn't be such a specimen. They're worded, aren't they? They're blessed to isolate the corrupted outside, so in a sense, yes. So it's an inside job. But why would anyone attempt to skew the war to benefit the enemy? That's the question, isn't it? That was all very helpful. Thank you. Did you find that? I appreciate the intent on lengthening our time together, investigator, but I'm a busy man. I'm so gapping at him. I wasn't... The grin as he makes to get up is downright infuriating. I should have a free time slot you after 5 hours if you're to continue your discussion. He can't just, but he can, and if here's that point, make his way out the door to a small room before I can finish my sentence. Eventually, I need to throw my journal out the door. Who do I investigate? Terra. Tap my pen against the desk as I try to structure a plan. I'm a political journalist, not a detective. I should be reporting on the strong relationship between the heirs and Emperor and whatever that is. I should be watching the general gallivanting alongside the aspects, drinking wine, smiling politely, and just writing. Instead, somehow I find myself spearheading an investigation that can not only spark a war between two nations, but also result to end in my life. I feel the nerves in my stomach like worms, eating me from the inside out. I should have skipped breakfast at this rate. I might skip dinner. You're right. You look like you want to murder your journal. Which I do not recommend, by the way. It looks like a nice journal. Thanks, Terra. I found myself torn from my thoughts and a voice I'm quickly growing acquainted with. Its owner leans against the open doorway, strong arms crossed in front of his chest. I knocked several times, but he didn't respond, so I let myself in. It took me a moment to realize he was waiting for me to respond to his inquiry. I'm fine. He held his eyes, studying me briefly. His gaze was piercing, as though he could see through every little lie. Please, feel free to take a seat. I motioned to a chair in front of the desk, which Terra's gaze briefly flickered to before moving back to me with a raised eyebrow. I don't mean to disrespect your embassy's choice of furniture in saying this, but if I were to put my full weight onto that seat, I fear it wouldn't hold another person ever again. While I have no issue paying for those damages, I think I'd rather spare your ambassadors the embarrassment. A giggle escapes me as I process his words. I imagine the present ambassadors rushing over to apologize to the elves' Terra for their inadequate seating arrangement. Sounds like something of a local comedy skit. Alright then, on to the topic at hand. Who do you think is responsible? Terra's eyes narrow at my questions, those pursing into a scowl. Whoever they are, they couldn't escape far. I put Omnis into lockdown, no one can leave or enter. That was my question. His eyes, like molten gold, slid to me. For a split second, I could imagine what it was like to be this man's enemy, to stand against a man who could move a mountain, literally. Someone or something that wishes to weaken us to drive fear into the hearts of our people. And when I find them, I will tear them to pieces with my bare hands and let them rot to the altar of celebration until the crows have picked the meat clean from the remains and the bear wretched have dissolved their bones with their shit. Damn. It takes me a moment to close my mouth and remember to write this down. Silence stretches between us, the only sound the ink on paper before I look up at the demigod before me. Another question on my mind. Is there any chance that one of yours betrayed us? If that were the case, they wouldn't be able to hide for long. You've studied the myths of Barossa and Denos. The god Ade married a handsome elven man, Barossa, promising him a palace on the sky in exchange for his love. Only Barossa's heart had already belonged to another. The lie was discovered and the god was furious enough to take him away from the elves ability to lie while turning Barossa to stone, like his heart had been towards him. Called the basics of the story we started at the Academy of Written Truth during my college years. You're quite well read, aren't you, investigator? The way he proved the word investigator genuinely missed the inkwell with my feather. Why do you bring the story up? Because there's no mere story. Elves cannot lie. We can skirt around the truth, twist the meanings of the words, we speak with tones and inflections, but we cannot lie. Makes my job of questioning the suspects on our side quite easy. How soon will you be able to tell me the results? By stone carving, I should be able to questions of all of ours carry the scent of wax mixture from this morning. Stone carving, day 3 of the festival takes place in the trading grounds of the Enclave of the Gods. I will see you there then. Tara gives me another pleased half smile. Notice anything unusual, sir? No, I was preoccupied. Any particular reason? He chuckles at the sound and unexpectedly takes a load off my shoulders. Some demigod enchantment, perhaps? I was releasing some pent-up energy. Through exercise? With Agua. It's a great effort for me to keep my pen moving against paper, but the writing turns into unintelligible scrawl as his words sink in. Expression proof enough that he isn't teasing me. His lips are set to a firm line, his muscular arms cross in front of his chest. A few moments of certain my voice expression are schooled, I continue that line of questioning. Through each other's alibi? I suppose that's the case. Let's flicker briefly away from me and his tail lowers to the ground. And you rather it doesn't spread? The tension melts away as if it drifted up. He chuckles at the question and I find myself waiting as the muscles in his abdomen as they tense. You're a funny one. Nobody in the city cares who does what with however many partners as long as it's not in the streets. Oh, so they did. Oh, okay. Paper. Some elven business came up right before the beginning of the festival. But not as long as I do investigate, you come to realize there's two kinds of business. There's business you can put off and the business you can't. You usually don't handle the first, it becomes the second. I'm trying not to make that mistake. Very organized of you. I'm still smiling at this explanation. The compliment comes out accidentally and it earns me a bright grin. Thank you. His tone softens slightly with a warm rumble compared to his usual demanding voice. I must find it difficult to focus on the work in hand. Yeah, what about this business? While the smell of the earth aspects doesn't shift, his tail bristles, I've seen enough small cats to know what this means. No. Non-bells go off man the sun shift aura, the word begins to ring in this cool, steely tone. I hit a wall with this line of questioning. That's a risk, assuming best I don't push it for now. Alright, my apologies. Better move on to another question quickly. A knock sounds at the door, breaking us away from our session. The terrorist's eyes move from the door. To me, his lips purse, he steps away from it. The man still famous for his control should have no problem giving away. I'd half expect the answer before he blink. Come in. The door creaks open, and I find myself looking at a handsome, live, silver-haired elf who offers the Terra a low bow. Alora? You're a native in the square that helps out at the fire dancing festival in Terra. Of course, I'll be right there. Now, I'm annoyed by the interruption. I nod my head when Terra's gaze turns to me. I see you at the fire dancing, then, investigator. To appropriate clothes for the event, I found myself caught off guard by the question. I had some sent to your room before tonight, then. Are you always buying strangers whole new wardrobes? Yeah, real. Usually only those that ask nicely. This grin stirs in me something fierce. Matura! I'm coming, Allura. Shut the door before I could poke at his words, leaving my brain scrambled with information and my stomach was warm. Looking down my notes of the first 2 sessions, turning the new information in my brain, the door of my room swings open with such violence that I reach for the dagger underneath my desk. For a second, the shadows grew deeper, darker, and I wanted to remove in their own before the general marches into my room unannounced. With 4 quick strides of his long legs, he reaches my desk, his tall form blocking out the rays of sun from the nearby window like a storm cloud. A thick stack of papers is deposited unceremoniously onto my desk, and it takes everything within me not to wince as I notice the smudges of various shades of red and brown along the inky scrawl upon them. Oh! Put the dagger back in its desk sheath and make up to get up and bow, but he raises his hand to stop me. I will not stay. I've taken up the task of personally questioning everyone from our delegation who prayed in front of the wax this morning. I feel the blood drain from my face as eyeballs split between him and the stack of papers before me. I cleared my throat and find my voice. And did you find anything of note? His eyes narrows with unfiltered annoyance. No. Heading for the door just as abruptly as he entered, each step increasing the anxiety set on my shoulders to question him. Shadow Master, with all due respect, I'd also like to ask you a few questions. My breathing halts the moment his footsteps do. I mind myself to count to 10, to move, to show signs of life as he levels with me when his famous glares and shadows in the room darken. Considers these 10 minutes of my time charity for a lost cause. My breathing resumes with a huff, and I'm quickly reminded of my dislike for the disrespect of the ruling and generals of areas. Annoyance washes over my fear, studying me as I flip over a new page of my journal. Yeah, you know that thing different in setup, buddy? The elves knew Aqua threw at the welcome party yesterday night. He reeks of trouble. I raised my eyebrow at the observation as I scribbled down the pointless answer down. That's the Shadow Master used salty wine and trouble interchangeably. I wouldn't be surprised considering the stick up his ass. Could you elaborate? He's cocky and impulsive and attention seeker with zero regard for the consequences of his action. He's still bothered by the way Aqua flirted with him in front of everyone. I pushed the thought down, ignoring the urge to smirk. The current Aqua has been present and active for 2 previous Dread Festivals as well, but no incidents occurred then. Putting out my tone professional controlled, earning me a scowl from the man before me, the Shadow Master opens his mouth and seems to think better of what he wants to say, closes it, glancing pointedly at the clock on my desk instead. I do my best to ignore the way this annoys me. Yeah, who do you think is responsible? The seal placed upon the children of evil is ancient, complicated magic. The rules are all mortal simpletons from our delegation to analyze culprits at the very least. Press my lips, annoying the stab this asshole just to lightheartedly made at my intelligence as he keeps talking. Whether it is a conscious betrayal or a handed guide by the anger of a god, those who would know how to seal a tomb by a millennium old spell will likely be encountered to the fingers of a one hand. Increases midair. The unspoken words linger between us a few moments before I finally press my quill to the pages of the journal again, seemingly snapping the general from his continued unspoken thoughts. His gaze fits to me, then his face around me before it crosses his arms over his chest. His lips set into a firm line as he knows what I'll ask him before I even open my mouth. You intend the question of dead? The death speakers have bestowed with the ability to sense, hear, and communicate with the dead by the gods. They should be the only ones capable of starting the specifics of an ancient sealing ritual. Furthermore, it isn't terribly convenient that their leader is the one organizing this year's Dread Festival. When thoughts flash the most mortal spirits form from earlier in the day, could it really be an act? What would he have to gain from releasing the goddess of chaos from her slumber? Do your job and you might find out. Pronounces my appointed title in a way that makes each syllable more mocking than the previous one. I grit my teeth at his initial smirk. Yeah, what do you think? What was their aim? This winter bore the greatest losses ever seen by this long-enduring alliance. Some would blame the elven leadership for the grave numbers. Others might blame us. I think someone is trying to stage a power coup. Shadow Master shrugs, and the action is human enough that I find myself staring. Hi, Sato! Whoever they are, the only gods can save them now, and they better pray the long and hard because their chances to survive after that sorry stunt is 0. His eyes glittered like sharp ruby gems, and I recognized those words, be not as a belief, but a promise. The complex web of information only seems to grow thicker and more convoluted. I hate to admit it, but the general is giving me a lot to think about in the last minutes. My brain is running at 1,000,000 miles per hour as I flip between pages of information, picking through the bits and pieces I find important. Whatever question I want to ask Ness, however, doesn't see the pages as I hear his boots begin moving towards the door. I glance up from my papers and he pulls the door open. For a second, I wonder if I should thank him for being decent to provided me for helping me out with my investigation. Instead, I watch him shut the door behind himself. Oh, I didn't click the right one. I'm not dead yet! That's clearly far from the conversation we just had in my room. Celia, Pat, and Lovak give me strength. Who do I investigate? My head feels like it's swimming as I attempt to piece everything together. Nothing makes sense. There's still too much information I lack and too little time I have to figure this out. I feel the restlessness, the squeezing of my stomach from the nerves doubled by the rapidly growing hunger for something more serious than a cup of tea. It forced me out of my chair and to my door with the amount of stress I'm under. If I don't eat anything, I might fall sick, and then I'd have really doomed us all. A light meal would have to suffice. Pulling the door open, I find myself staring back at 2 pairs of surprised green eyes. The aspect of death, one dark hand pulled into a fist, seems to have just about to knock. Instead, he clears his throat and hides his hand back from under his long cloak. I've come at a bad time. He steps back, sincere, serene, entirely different from the previous burning display of anger at the city square. It's alright, Natura. I was about to step out for lunch. I see, then I won't keep you with my presence. That won't work for me. I desperately need answers. Let's talk in my office. Or green eyes blink at me to scan me from top to bottom. I will. Just not today. There might be, there's like a Hoarder BL I have planned for today at some point. Such a feeling should not be ignored. It's fine. This shouldn't take too long. Our meeting events my work seems satisfying as he gives me a curt nod and follows me into my office. He makes no effort for small talk while I move to take my place back behind my desk. Somehow the police silence doesn't rush me. Instead, it lets me sort through my thoughts. Do you prefer having me seated or standing? The question puzzles me, and I catch Mort Mortis once again scanning my face, searching for who knows what as I shrug. I do not mind either way, Natura. We are in a city. And in your embassy, investigator. Do not forget that. Oh, I took his hood off. I blink as he takes a seat in front of me and removes his hood. Ask away. So I do just that. Who do you think is responsible, sir? The aspect of this expression turns unreadable, his eyes flicker away. A shadow falls across his face, and I noted that he's thought on this already. For some reason, however, he refuses to share. His silence lasts long enough that I'm inclined to write down, refuses to respond in my journal. I play with the feather in my quill as I consider how to follow up on the lack of reply. Yeah, are you? The question rolls off my tongue so quickly that I'm both surprised and terrified. The man could likely kill me by blinking, but his response would leave me completely bewildered. I may have had a hand in it. Peace in his voice renders me certain that we're talking about different things entirely. All due respect, Natura, you're making zero sense. Simply by organizing the ritual, therefore doing my job, I cluelessly helped free the goddess, accomplishing an important step in a complex plan, so realistically, I likely was partly responsible for the incident. For some reason, this conversation reminds me of being bullied at school by the older, smarter children. If yours truly wants to solve this and leave here with your life, investigator, you need to stop being scared and ask better questions. Don't hear admonishment in his tone, only resignation. With maybe a hint of something teasing? Who says I'm scared? You smell like a little lamb who knows they're being sent to the slaughterhouse. Hell yeah, chop me up like a little lamb. Send me off to the supermarket. Takes me a moment, but I do recall most elves are known to have the sense of smell better than that most of predatory animals. There is nothing wrong with fear. It spurs creatures on, makes it so that they don't wait around for a predator to find and consume them. Lean into your mortal instincts, investigator. Adapt. Live in the trees like squirrels do. Once again, he says something peculiar. Was he actually complimenting the intelligence of a rodent? What bizarre figure the demigod of death is. Yeah, did you notice anything unusual before? Hours is a very broad amount of time. Oh, Hayami tastes like a meat cut? I don't know. I think I taste really irony and gamey being a vampire. It's caught my attention. For when my invisibility cloak had disappeared. The joke is on my tongue, but I resist interrupting, saving it down like any other intrusive thought. I couldn't complete my afternoon patrol yesterday because I was saving a soul in distress from sudden rain. Ha 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 ha. His eyes linger, pointing at me as I write that down. And the dead, their immortal souls were restless. His ears twitch and he glances quickly around the room. Even still, their bones seek to leave their graves, even if their flesh has been cleaved and turned to wax. What can you tell? I can see them, hear them, feel them, talk to them. His gaze shifts briefly to something above my shoulder. I follow his gaze but stop nothing. A shudder rolls down me. Could there be the aspect this size where his eyes turns to the notes before me? I believe my appetite has completely disappeared. I must, however, persevere. Can the dead interfere with the ritual? Yes and no. Souls have no magic of their own, so while they can wail and bemoan anything, they technically can't interfere with anything physical. Tomb dwellers, on the other hand, bones raised to mindless undeath or magic anomalies, and incorrect spellcasting can always do harm. How so? They're made of magic and death, and they go around spreading magic and death until they run out and crumble to dust. They're dangerous because they lack any cognizance. But they are terribly rare, scarcely see more than one or two a season. You sound certain that the dead are responsible for the escape of the science of chaos. They have no motive. It is as simple as that. He sounds so convinced. I look up from my notebook and face him with my next question and find the pair of eyes in his cheekbones focused on me, though the rest of him appears to be looking away. They crinkle around the edges almost imperceptibly before directing their interest elsewhere. Was the ritual tampered with? Yes. How? His eyes fall on the scattered papers on my desk. There was a runic configurations on the inside of the cauldron. I blinked in surprise. Runes are ancient symbols imbued with magic, most commonly used for spellcasting. But runic is a dead language. Is anything truly dead if a memory of it still lingers? The aspect of death reaches out and runs the palm of his hand over a burning candle flame on my desk. He shows no sign of pain as the fire flicks away at the surface of his hand for 5, 10, 20 seconds. He inspects it with full curiosity. I find myself memorized as the green artwork on the back of his hand comes to life. Another eye blinks back at me, its painted edges crinkling with familiarity as it belonged to a smiling face. When I look back at Mortis Mortis, I notice his ears have sharpened and his bustling tail has frozen in their place as he's listening for something that I can't hear. The eyes on his cheekbones have shifted their attention elsewhere. And if you give you only one option. Well, I picked all the other options, so that was the last one left. His features soften after a split second, and he turns his full force back to me, pulling his hand away from the candle. Yeah, what purpose do these runes serve? Very few can read this language. Some of the runic shapes used are foreign even to me. I frowned at this information. Despite the youth of his current appearance, Mortis was the eldest of the aspect. Imperial records place his age somewhere in the late 400s. Oh, he's around the same age as me! Mid to late 400s. My deaf speakers have already begun raising the spirits of the ancient dead to see if we can earn that knowledge. No, you're fine. They're not for everyone. I'll let you know what we find, but this will take time. The sudden urge to snap at him rises within me. He's given me a week to solve this, but he's the one that needs time. I count to 10, stealing my nerves once more. How long do you imagine it will take to find this knowledge? By tree gifting at the latest. I grit my teeth. It's going to take him 3 days. I see. I'll ponder the implications of that later. I should leave you the pleasures within the place. Barely a moment to blink as the aspect of death rose, put his hood back up, and his form towering over me. His cloak carried behind him the scent of fallen autumn leaves and burning candles. He hadn't had a bite or a sip as he made his way to the door. His eyes flickered once again to me and then behind me. Something of a smile crosses his lips. Remember, be a squirrel, not a lamb. Less meat on the bones, the less satisfying the prey. Hey, there we go! And that was Spell Candle. Though by Bottled Monster Inc. The demo is currently on Steam. I highly recommend you check it out. It's pretty good. It's actually very, very good. Yippee! So good. Thank you so much for letting me play. Yeah. That was pretty good though. I like that a lot. That was really, really, really good. Alrighty, let's load up the next one. I'm excited. I'm excited for the next one. Let's see. To pop this up. The music's not bad for this one either. Ooh. Yeah, I just haven't been able to stream as many of them as I wanted. With the Irium event going on and stuff. But now I can! And today and tomorrow I'm going to be catching up on quite a few of them. I'm very, very excited. This one is The Ghost of Alcantra. Let me go ahead and edit the stream. Ghost of Al. There we go. I'm excited. And let's get started. Dedicated to Nick, who helped me turn a dream into a story. Pictures are so gorgeous. Part 1. Setting Sun. June 6th, 1987. We'll get as far in this one as we can before the time. up at the top here. Here we go. I sometimes wonder how much the world will change if I saw it as someone else. Take Mrs. Williams over there. She manages to keep a polite smile on her wrinkled old face as he nods along. He nods along with Mrs. Johnson's babbling about how great her kids are. But the gaps in their one-sided conversations, you see Mrs. Williams' eyes push a smile on her face as she looks past Mrs. Johnson to somewhere further away. Mrs. Williams' husband died a year ago after a long battle with an autoimmune disorder. The world of Mrs. Williams, is it bright like a smile? Or gray like a vacant stare? Without a story, you never know. Then there's Farmer Todd, who is lecturing a couple of kids who are misbehaving. He's a typical grouchy type, never happy with how the world is, never happy about what people are doing. Despite that, if you pay careful attention, you can see Farmer Todd is trying to suppress a smile. His wife and kids died in a traffic accident with a logging truck, and ever since, he decided to do what he can to help and guide others. I hope your gotcha dailies go well and you get the character you're pulling for. The world of Farmer Todd isn't the world of someone irritably chipping away at their lonely days, or the world of someone determined to make a world a slightly better place. Each and every one of us, we're all a Mrs. William or a Farmer Todd. Individuals are unique in a world. All of us have a story we're sharing. I bounded along the canal in front of the walkway adorned with festival stalls as the evening sunset began its retreat. Why was I having these type of thoughts? I guess it's because the story of the festival is based on. On the first weekend of every June, our small town of Alcantra, located at the northern tip of Michigan, holds a festival with the extremely original name, the Summer Festival. So original. Once upon a time, Alcantra was a town named Connington, which was known for copper mining and lake fishing. Then, a little over 100 years ago, the leader of this town, Alistair Thorne, proposed changing the town name to Alcantra in remembrance of his recently departed lover. The story goes that Alistair had been on the brink of death just as he was about to pass into the afterlife. The ghost of his beloved Alcantra met him in the fringes between life and death and convinced him he needed to live. He was about to make a recovery, and afterwards he decided to rename the town in honor of his wife and propose an annual festival in remembrance of her. To this day, we still celebrate the Summer Festival every first weekend of June, and though it was once a celebration about a cheesy sentiment like the endurance of love and the importance of connection, has developed into a wonderful excuse to get drunk, light up explosives, and eat lots of cheap food. Not the typical Midwesterner needing an excuse to do those things. Maybe it's because I'm not allowed to drink yet, and most of the food I eat is pretty cheap, but I always think of this festival's relation to its romantic origins. While I doubt I'll ever meet anyone who loves me enough to meet me in purgatory to convince me to live, I do like the idea new perspectives can open up a world that would be impossible without just your own. I imagine that what Alcantra told Alistair was a story of her life, and it was that story that convinced him to live. We need other viewpoints, not just our own, to help us get through life. As I was having these thoughts, I saw Mrs. Williams managing to flee from Mrs. Johnson's verbal barrage, and I decided I would put on my sentimental feelings on hold to get some ice cream from the Johnson stall. Johnson: Hey Nick, glad you could stop by. Wall Burton and Terrence not with you today? Yeah, just me today. Wall Burton's family is out fishing, and Terrence has decided he's too cool to go to local festivals. Believes solitude is the way to go. Mr. Johnson chuckled in response. Well, tell you what, kid. Since I don't want you to feel lonely, I'll give you an extra cone. I rolled my eyes but accepted the charity. Say, wasn't Mrs. Braddock supposed to be helping out with your stall? I feigned concern about the efficiency of their ice cream operation, but I was mostly concerned about the quality of Mr. Braddock. Was a quiet woman who didn't talk much. But man, does she know desserts. I was a big fan of her bakery downtown, though I had no doubt she could work her miracles for an ice cream stall, too. Mrs. Johnson huffed. Yeah, where is Marina? If I didn't like her to bail, I'm gonna have to stop by this evening and give her a good scolding. She knows how much the town looks forward to our stall every year. Yeah, not like her at all. Hope she's alright. I thanked the Johnsons for the ice cream, struggled to pay out the 2 cones in my hands, and then left them grumbling about Mrs. Braddock's absence. The fireworks show was going to start soon. I have a special spot to get to. My special fireworks spot was a little clearing at the bottom of the path towards the shore. I'm not really a loner, but I always watch the fireworks alone. This little excursion was my yearly excuse to find myself under the lights of supposed centuries-long romance. Hello! Thank you for letting me play. I love the scenery so far. I weaved my way through the crowd till I made it into the outskirts of the festival. I finished up my ice cream as nightfall began to settle in. Through the calming ambience of the emerging moon did little to quiet the racket beneath me. Hi, Abel! How are you? Long time no see. I never understood fireworks as a group spectacle. Nothing like the cheering of crowds, the hollering of drunks, and the crying of children to kill the atmosphere. Oh, real. That's why I wanted to watch the fireworks from my special spot. As I was just about to head through the trail to get to my fireworks spot, I saw a girl sitting on the grass by the canal front. Oh, she's cute! Claire de Lune. She wore a simple but elegant summer dress and sat with downright offensively good posture, but what caught my attention most was the expression on her face. You're looking for a while now, but you've been okay. I miss you. I miss you too. Thank you for lurking. I do really appreciate it. How's everything been for you? She had a blank look with empty eyes. She was facing the canal, but taking in nothing. It looked as like a ghost of wind could take her far away from here. The closer I got, the more I could sense that there was a loneliness to her. Solitary fireworks viewing was my thing, but solitude is best when it's chosen, not when it's routine. I thought about the summer festival and what it meant to me, and decided it was worth the attempt to see if there was anything behind that empty expression. Oh, shoot. I cautiously headed over to her. She didn't look like anyone I knew, so she probably wasn't from Alcantra. Alcantra is a small town of about 5,000 people, and everybody knows each other. I would definitely recognize someone from my school. I guess she was visiting for the festival. Are you here to see the fireworks? Oh, her dress is pretty. She looked over startled, panicking at having been addressed. Then turned into a wary sort of glare. I began to regret my decision. Who voluntarily subjects themselves to small talk? After taking her time to glare at me, she answered, I am. And I said nothing else, knowing enough to be the conversationalist. Me too. She continued to look at me as if trying to figure out my character, which prevented me from throwing out, well, it was nice meeting you today, see you later, and fleeing. I soldiered on. I'm Nick Fox. I'm guessing you're not from around here? Nick Fox? Like the Nick the Fox from Disney? I'm sorry. She hesitated, then slowly nodded her head. Where are you from, then? None of your business. Real. She spat that back at me quietly, a little taken aback. I regretted my soldering on and thought she was probably just wanted to be left alone. I began to start walking away when she spoke again. Sorry, there are secrets a girl has to keep to herself. Dang, this music's fancy. Well, okay, that's fair. I've heard about the summer festival before, but I've never gone to actually attend. This is my first time getting to go. She seemed more willing to talk now. I thought I saw the faintest glimmer of a smile show up. I've been good. I'm mentally preparing for later today. I suspect it's because guys are easily swayed by smiles, even the ghost of one, but I decided I could at least be a good host and recommend her a good viewing spot for the fireworks. Well, the fireworks show starts in a few minutes. There's a spot to the past there that has a great view. You're welcome to join me. She hesitated before slowly getting up. Sure. I nodded and headed towards the path. She walked behind me. You got a name? Yes. Is her name Yes? I waited for her to tell me her name, but I guess she had that regal air about her. Maybe she wasn't used to dealing with commoners and didn't throw her name around so casually. What's your name then? Alexandria. You have a last name? That's because there's a good chance I know what she's related to if she was visiting, given that everybody knows everybody around here. Those brief silence she thought about it. Who has to think about their name? Sorry, I can't tell you that. I sighed. Another one of those top secrets you girls have to keep? Yes, but I also don't answer a strange question from guys I haven't met before. She was very guarded and short with her responses, but honestly, at the tone of her voice, I got the feeling she wasn't that upset with me. We exited the trail and the clearing emerged. I sat down where you could see the fireworks best, and I decided to break the ice by introducing myself. Well, I'm Nick Fox, a senior at Alcantra High. It's nice to meet you. She sat down a good distance away from me and gave me another weary growl. Tell me, do you often try to pick up strange girls at night? At least she recognized she was strange. I decided to jab back. No, I don't. And I'm guessing you're not used to being talked to? Well, later today I have my Irium graduation, and then after that, if the internet is good, I'm hoping to maybe draw some snails in chat? We'll see. I'm really nervous about this is the biggest day in my streaming career yet. But I'll be alright. not too worried. She gave a sad sort of smile that made me regret my little jab. No, I'm not used to being talked to. Oh, you made her sad. What the heck, Mr. Fox? That made me regret my jab even more. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Don't worry about it. Silence descended between us while I tried to think of a reassuring platitude to give her while she sat calmly, with dignified air. She may have been lonely, but she was used to it. Dude, they're just two loners. Oh, wait. Is she gonna die then? We're gonna rename the town. Wait, isn't there a town in Michigan named Alexandria? Always be here no matter what. Thank you, Evil. I am so very, very grateful for all my fans who've followed me this far, from reality to YouTube to here area. Oh man. That made me a little sad. Yeah, it's hard to draw fireworks. Big props. That was pretty. Before I said anything, the fireworks then began, a dazzling and dizzying light show accompanied by distant cheers. Even with all the noise, the size between Alexandria and I was much more striking. I wasn't paying much attention to the show, the novelty of the rest of the experience being much more interesting. Oh my gosh, she's on fire! She's on fire! I glanced over at her and saw that her expression had changed a little. Not by a lot, though. I guess not even the splendor of explosives could completely, wipe away whatever melancholic feeling she must have felt. By this time, the empty look was accompanied by the hopeful glimmer of a smile. Despite having given up on my solitary tradition, it was probably worth it to share a part of my world with her. When the show ended, I probably wouldn't see her again. Mildly hopeless as I am, I wanted the sentiment of the festival to ring true. After a moment of time, I felt like it lasted both mere seconds and an eternity. The fireworks were over. All we were left with was the afterglow of a celebration and the growing glow of the stars above. So, you enjoy the show? If you're visiting, there's not a lot to do here, but at very least the people here know gunpowder. She got up and dusted off her dress. I did. It was a great show. She hesitated, then continued on, speaking very hurriedly, like she thought she might not get the opportunity to do so later. I've been in a position where I don't get to interact with people very often, especially people my age, so I'm sorry if I was a little awkward. I don't have many friends. I have everything I need and very little what I actually want. But recently, something good happened to me, and I got the opportunity to come here. I had heard the summer festival, and I loved the story of the town of Alcantra. As for hobbies, I read a lot of novels of all types, but I love mysteries and romances the most. Aww. I can't tell you my last name, my situation, or where I'm from, but at the very least, I can tell you that I'm very glad you invited me to see the fireworks with you. Aww. She flashed me a bright smile, with the lonely look that sort of suited her. I thought this one suited her more. Anyway, I have to go now. My, caretakers will be waiting for me. Caretakers? I guess she wasn't staying with family while she was visiting. She gave me a small wave. Bye, Nick. I waved back. See you later, Alexandria. She headed back towards the trail. I sat in the silence left in her wake for a bit, and then followed suit. On the way home, I became reflective again, thinking of the world she lived in, and what it was like. Thinking about that, I began to hope I might see her again. Part 2. Endless Night. Oh, this is like 10 years later. Who spilled the jelly? Who spilled the jelly? Oh my god, he fucking dead. Perhaps I was looking for a place to die. 07 Nick. I certainly didn't make an effort to get out of the way of the motorcyclist. I didn't know if it was because I couldn't or because I didn't want to. I'd been walking up a slope on the north side of town. It was nighttime and the cold air betrayed the beginning of the warm season we were supposed to be in. As I neared the top of the slope, I heard a shrill cry of an engine. By the time I looked out, the motorcyclist had already lost control, going around the turn at the top of the slope. In the next moment, it was barreling towards me. I barely had time to register the pain before I was flat on my back, gasping for breath. I turned my head to see the motorcyclist. They had hit a tree and would have been dead on impact. I know I would soon join them. I returned to my hometown of Alcantra after many years. I don't know why I came back. I hated the place. I had my memories from my previous time here. The streets, the water, the air. All of it was permeated with my guilt and regret. No matter where I looked, what I did, or who I talked to, I couldn't get away from those feelings. I tried to escape, but it was futile. No one can run away from themselves. This wasn't such a bad place to die. It was quiet and peaceful, and the top of the slope gave me a great view of the stars. I turned the pavement glue. They are called donor cycles for a reason. The music. I used to love looking at the stars. They shined so brightly to me before. Looking at them now, they barely shine at all. It's funny. Looking at the stars now, they seem further away than ever, though I was about to join them. I reached out my hand to try and grasp a star. Of course, my hand never came close. I let my hand fall back onto the ground. I wasn't close to the sky, the stars, or to her. Now, finally, I might be able to see her again. My evanescence, but ever-present ghost. I'll be with you soon. Let's dance from the stars, you and I. I smiled, closing my eyes, and I faded. 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 I was fading, but getting closer and closer to a bright light. It was far too bright. This sort of radiance, this sort of warmth, I didn't deserve it. I could hear a woman's voice, beckoning me to come. Oh, I'm not falling for that. I'm not stupid enough to go towards the light, not one as beautiful as that. The woman was pleading and begging for me to join her. I saw a glimpse of what lay beyond that light. It was wonderful and happy. It was too good to be true. Sorry, I'm looking to be reunited with a ghost, but you can't be the one I'm looking for. The ghost I'm looking for wouldn't beckon me to a wondrous place like this. I turned away from the light. There's no place for me there. If that was heaven, that's not what I deserved. I'm wretched and despicable, and I deserve punishment. Ignoring the pleading, crying, and begging for the woman's voice behind me, I faded away again. And faded. And faded. And faded. This time I faded towards a deep darkness. Yes, this is where I belong. Once again I heard a woman's voice. This time the voice simmered with scorn. The words were filled with malice. The tones were dripping with venom. Yes, you must be the ghost I'm looking for. I headed to that darkness and to her voice. It was voice filled with so much hatred. But it was enticing and entrapping to me. This is where I belong. This is where it would end for me. I faded away. And faded. And faded. And faded. And faded away. Damn. I woke up to the irritating beeping of vital signs monitor. With some effort, I managed to sit up in my bed. I glanced around the room, and I figured out quickly that I was in the hospital. I'm guessing my injury was pretty bad. My arms and legs seemed to work fine, though I was hooked up to several machines. I was alone in the room, with nothing but the sterility of the hospital atmosphere to keep me company. This wasn't pleasant company that I wanted to find a button that would summon the medical staff over, but I figured it'd be a bad idea to start pressing buttons. I'd wait for the return of a nurse or doctor. I laid back down and reflected on my current situation. I didn't seem to be dying. My body worked. My mind worked, but I was strangely empty. Yes, that's the word to describe it. Empty. There was nothing to me, but only lingering feelings of guilt and sorrow. I didn't know why I felt guilty. I didn't know why I felt sad. I tried to think about my situation. Obviously, I must have had some people in my life who would be concerned about me. They must be around somewhere. I tried to think of who those people would be. Are there any? I tried to remember friends. I couldn't remember any. Lovers? I must have had some, but I couldn't remember any. Perhaps I was a hermit and didn't associate with others. Okay then, let's see about me. 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 What's my name? I don't know. Me too. What's my age? I don't know. Where am I from? I don't know. What did I do? I don't know. What happened to me? People know these things about themselves. Why can't they answer those questions? My brain is working, but I guess it's not working as well as it should. I started to panic. I realized why I felt so empty. Well, memories, there's no me. I was only an outer shell with nothing inside. My breathing quickened, and I started grasping at the machines bound to me. I needed to get out of here. Anywhere but here. It must be the hospital. I'm not responding well to whatever happened to me. I need to change the scenery. Maybe some fresh air? This might help me jog my memory. Sensing my panic, a chubby man with a graying head appeared to match a gray beard came in, seeing my tingled frenzy with the nearby machines, rushed over. Stop, calm down. You're alright. Let me explain the situation. You'll be alright. Saying that wasn't going to calm me down, but I was weaker than I thought because he easily took my hands off the devices and gently laid me back down in the bed. It struck me that I was being stupid, of course. The doctor would have to know something about me. We can go from there. Rationally prevailing, I calmed down. So we met a girl, and then 10 years passed-ish. Got hit with a motorcycle. While the doctor took deep breaths and patted Etsuno's forehead with a handkerchief, I asked him, "So what's wrong with me?" Dr. stopped mid-sweat pat to look at me. He slowly put the handkerchief away and did his best to rearrange his face into a calm expression. "Well, no time for pleasantries, I guess, but regardless, it's good to see you awake. I better start from the beginning and then we can figure out your condition. You've been unconscious in the hospital for a week. You were hit by a motorcycle, and the impact caused quite a bit of damage. It's a miracle you're alive, as well as you are, and none of your injuries are life-threatening. Fortunately, you also had some spinal and head damage. Damage to your head was particularly nasty." A head injury? My stomach began to drop in the realization. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I did notice our font color changed. This makes me beg the question, are we playing Nick or are we playing Alexandria right now? Or is there another person who spawned in? I wonder. That's exciting though. Maybe expand, but yeah, this is interesting so far. I like it. Definitely a little jarring going from like a summer romance to getting hit by a vehicle. But it's also interesting. Not when they hit you with a vehicle the first bit. We begin. Now then, you asked if there's something wrong with you. Physically, you took some damage, but nothing to warrant anything dramatic, saying there's something wrong with you. Please tell me how you're feeling. I'll try to illuminate as much as I can. I gave it to him bluntly. I can't remember anything. The doctor frowned at that. Well, obviously that's not completely true. You definitely remember some things, but the possibility of memory loss was something we were worried about given the potential trauma of the injury. Let's work out what you can and cannot remember. Can you remember who you are? I shook my head. Not even your name? I shook my head again. You can't remember any family or friends? I shook my head a third time. Any strong recollections, like particularly strong associations with joy or sorrow? You can't remember the details. Thought about it. Now you mention it, I did feel deep pangs of guilt and sorrow somewhere within me. Told the doctor as much. Okay, let's turn to that in a bit. He's back! Welcome back. You remember how to talk, so you must remember a lot of other things. It's clear that you remember how, and I know this is a vague description, how things work. Chaos begins again. Like, you'll know how math works, so your cognitive abilities are still working. Let's try a different route. Do you remember how apples taste? Yeah, I actually do. I know what they taste like. Interesting. Played the game of 20 questions. My initial self-diagnosis was pretty off, but I remember plenty of things. In fact, it sounded like I remembered most things. I remember that the Cowboys won the 1998 Super Bowl, that Bill Clinton was the president, and things like that. The only things I couldn't remember were anything to do with me. And so far, I seem to be making new memories just fine. Bro, I can remember Bill Clinton in the Super Bowl, but I can't remember who I am. Priorities. Highly unusual. Post-traumatic amnesia is particularly uncommon, but most amnesics experience anterograde amnesia. Oh, okay. I mean, that's true. Can't make new memories. We'll monitor the situation, but looks like you have a highly unusual case of retrograde amnesia. Like, flatten out. Oh, right. Honestly, if I could ever get, like, a thing set up to where I could have a toggle like that, I'll set it to be like that, where I'll just stretch my form out and be like, I don't have many funky toggles yet, but dude, one day. Like, bald toggle and stuff. I need my bald head to be so shiny, you guys go blind when you shine light on it. You don't understand. That's when you can't remember previously stored memories, and even those cases usually just involve forgetting relatively recent memories, not long-term ingrained ones. Even more so, to have such a highly specific type of retrograde amnesia where only certain types of memories are effective. Do it. I've never heard of it happening. I expect that in time you'll recover from your memories. I suspect the specificity of your amnesia is more likely to lie within your psychological condition rather than your physical. You mentioned strong numbness, feelings of guilt and sorrow. Yeah, 1,000 points, right? Likely those feelings are the root cause of your current condition. The accident with the motorcycle is nearly a catalyst that allowed this to happen. Oh. A bit far-fetched, but I decided to trust the doctor. It was a lot to take in, but reassuring that he thought I'd get my memories back. Then I realized that we were forgetting something obvious. Of course we'd figured out who I was. There had to be someone in the area who knew me. I brought this up to the doctor, but his face darkened. We'll send notifications to the police about this, and reports will be fired, but no one has come forward regarding you. We're in Alcantra, a small town in northern Michigan. Thank you, Manon. Send notifications to the police. Oh, I read that already. I'm stupid. Perhaps it's an area you're not from, so identification from a local who knows you might not be possible. If that's the case, then it might take some time for the police to track down where you're from. I'll do my best. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get back in the app at all. So, I do have good news. I think I'm still going to be able to get the Boba Shop rewards. I filled it out the second I got the notification for it. So, there should be no way I lose them. It should be literally impossible. But we'll see. Alcantra. The name sounded so familiar. I was positive that I knew the area. No, it was more than I knew about the area. Alcantra must have been associated with those lingering feelings of regret and sadness I have. This must be like the girl or something. It must have been part of me, which made it strange that no one had come forward to identify me. I was hit by a motorcycle, meaning I was out walking. Surely I had some form of ID on me? Doctor's face became even more glum. Well, you had a wallet. Perfect. There's no way my driver's license was in there unless I didn't have one. There's no ID in it. Great. I don't remember who I am, and apparently I was a loser who couldn't drive. That's so real. That's so me. Actually, there is someone who wants to talk to you about that. We have a good reason to think your wallet was tampered with. You mean they stole the money? No, the money's still there. You still have your 1347. The tampering was more malicious than that. The doctor gave a big sigh. Honestly, I think it takes more time to process all this, but the person who wants to meet you is quite insistent that it's urgent that she meets you as soon as possible. She's going to be sorely disappointed about your condition. Oh, wait, so we are Nick. This glum place becomes even gloomier. I hope he has enough saved for retirement. He probably deserved it. Frankly, the matter is urgent. Probably as urgent. Are you okay with seeing her? I am. Okay, I'll update her about your condition and let her in to see you. I'm assuming my debut date would be closer to Christmas. That makes sense. The doctor got up and walked out the door, leaving me to stew in anticipation. At this point, I was more curious than nervous. About 10 minutes later, a woman walked in. Oh, who the fuck is this? She marched in like she owned the place. Glanced at me before taking out a cigarette and putting it in her mouth. Got out her lighter, looked at me again, probably reflecting on legality of smoking in hospitals, and then lit the cigarette anyway. The doctor did come in with her, which I was mildly alarmed by giving her lack of concern for his patient. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but there was something familiar about this detective. Here was the mannerisms they reminded me of memories a Manfellow had. After taking a drag of her cigarette, she acknowledged me with, "Hi, Emmy!" Thank you for greeting him. Oh yeah, it's T-minus 1 hour. Oh man. Mwah! How you doing? So I'm pretty rough spa. It's not Aaron, huh? When I would give her a response, she continued, "I'm Detective Scarlet Storm. I work for the Alcantra police. I tried to get a cool code name like Red Thunder, but we turned me down, so Detective Storm it is." She then pulled up a chair, set it down, and leaned towards me with an unhinged gleam in her eye. She felt more like a hunter than a detective. I was a patient now, but I'd be prey soon enough. You know about my current condition, then? Sure do. Crazy stuff. A little too crazy for a small place like this. She tilted her head and glared at me like my amnesia ticked her off personally. The relentlessly bed in the hospital room and the random two lady in the foreground, I know. Dude, the really pretty art and then like the super realistic but like grainy filmed backgrounds, send me. It's so good. Yes? I may be a storm, but I know the importance of order. Something's gotta be right. Can't have a conversation without proper introduction. Now I know you don't remember your name, so we'll come up with a temporary name for you. I agreed it's probably going to be awkward to go around nameless in the near future. I nodded. Okay, then let's come up with a name. How about something simple like John? Dumbest thing I've heard. You don't look like a John at all. What does a John look like? I realized I have no idea what I looked like since there wasn't any mirrors and I didn't remember my appearance. Okay, not John then. What do I look like if you're using appearances to say my name? And while we're at it, how old do I look? You look like you were dumped by your girlfriend after 10 years of going steady, but not committing to trying to not. Cried your eyes out, didn't get cleaned up afterwards, and got hit by a car. Or a motorcycle in your case. Damn, lady. Thought to my shock and then continued. You're a little over 6 foot with a medium muscular build. You got short brown hair and some weird stubble thing going on. Some sad-ass eyes. I'm not great at guessing those sort of things, but I'm guessing you're in your early 30s. Once I get over the shock of her description, I vowed to take a shower and look in the mirror, but that could wait. I needed to hear what this case was about for to happen. I needed a name. So it looks like it's seen better days, I guess. Remember, the name should be unique, not some John. I don't know what she had against Johns in her life, but it took some time to think about my name while the detective tapped her foot impatiently. Oh, but game has a chance. So, I love you, Emmy. You know what, actually? Oh, yeah! Trigger Happy Havoc! I've been meaning to play that. Hi, Luke Carton. How you doing? Let's go here. Get shouted out. I don't know what... There we go. How about something like Victor? Victor? What does a Victor have to do with a 6-foot bum? I don't know. Something about the letter V stirs some strong emotions in me. Like I have some long negative association with it. I don't know, I'm currently feeling negative is the way to go. Give me a long look before rolling her eyes. Okay, Victor it is. Let's get down to business then, Victor. As the doctor let me know, your wallet is very interesting. There's no ID in your wallet. Instead, the little fold with the driver's license, particularly there is a piece of paper with some words written on them. The same thank you, thank you. Yeah, true. There was just like a giant, like, there's been just random sub-bomb giftings. Honestly, I like Danganronpa 3. People shit on it a lot, but I actually like it. Alright, don't die, Chance. Funny enough, the wallet found its way. The medical folks all the way to me. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, rectangular piece of paper. She held it out towards me. Think you can handle it? Of course I can. I found out I'm an amnesiac today. I can handle anything. I grabbed the note. On the paper, brightly lit as this was written. You will have all three. Her blood is on your hands. Oh! Oh my gosh, he did! I stood at the note and stared at it. I never remembered what I remembered. The only part of my memories that remained was a lingering feeling of sadness and guilt. I didn't know who her was. I didn't know what I'd done to her, but the message on the note felt right. The note was startling, not shocking. This note was proof that there was an I that had existed. And now I had to deal with this. Did I want to know who that was? The doctor said that my condition was probably psychological. Perhaps there are some things better left forgotten. I gave the note back to Detective Storm, who was carefully scrutinizing me, looking for any hint of reaction. It must have been pretty pathetic to do something bad enough that I felt the need to try and forget what I had done. Yeah, I still have it. There a murder? Well, another cigarette before answering. There was. A brutal one. All I could do was smile at the ridiculousness of it all. I might be the first amnesiac to be a suspect for murder. Detective Storm must have realized what I was thinking. Oh, don't worry about being a suspect. There's no way you committed the murder. I tilted my head at her questioningly. The murder was hours ago. Your alibi is airtight. I already had the note before the murder was committed. However, you must understand that this is pretty suspicious. Even if you're not the murderer, we've got to consider that you were involved in all this somehow. I nodded. That's understandable. There's a lot of possibilities to consider. 1, someone who discovered your body didn't like you and decided to pull an elaborate prank. 2, this could be reference to the past event and not related to the murder case I'm currently investigating. 3rd, it could be a message in relation to the murder. And lastly, it might have been a message you left for yourself. Now, there's still plenty I'd like to know about the person who left you this message. As for why they decided to replace your ID with that note, I have no idea. And well, if it was you, I'm interested in why you left that note. It was really bizarre. The scenarios in which someone left me the note seemed so implausible. Why would they do that? What purpose would leaving the note serve? The note served given I had just been hit by a motorcycle. And if I left that note for myself, it begged the question of what I'd done and whose blood was on my hands. Perhaps it was a note supposed to be a reminder of my guilt, but even so, what a strange thing to do. Dude, this music is crazy intense. Your unfortunate condition has put quite a damper on the potential role you might have served in helping me with this investigation. It's not often we get murderers around here, and any lead would have helped us. Well, yeah, this is a small town in the middle of fucking Michigan. Of course nothing happens there. She leaned towards me when I once again caught the unhinged glimmer. Even so, I'd like your help with the case. As such, I've asked the doctor if it'd be alright if you were to come along and stay with me for the duration of the investigation. From what I hear, you don't have anywhere to go anyway. Until some friends or family come to bail you out from dealing with a hottie like me, I'd appreciate your cooperation. I'm gonna save real quick. She gave me a wicked smile, like she made me a deal I couldn't refuse. Something about that smile seemed so familiar, even though it was impossible that I'd known her. That made me a little hesitant. In 45 minutes. So then one turned down her offer for the sake of getting my memories back more than anything. I owed it not to myself, but to the woman whose blood is on my hands. Look on the bright side. Staying with a detective would beat staying cooped up in a hospital going crazy from not remembering things. Who am I? Well, that's easy. I'm an amnesiac potentially involved in a murder case. Who was I? I could have been a murderer. I could have been an accomplice to a murderer. I could have eaten the body. I could have just been an idiot who got caught up in a murder. Caught up in a murder. Murderer. Caught up in a murder? Caught up in a murder. Maybe I was just a nobody. I could have been anyone who done anything. Who will I be? That's the real question. Like the hit song, I'm a bee. I'm a bee. I'm a bee. I'm a bee. I got that feeling once I remembered who I was that who I was would determine who I would be. Having made up my mind, I nodded towards Detective Storm. It would be my pleasure, Detective Storm. I look forward to lurking with you. She nodded back. I should warn you, though. Might be a spooky case. What do you mean? Many of the local residents think there's a supernatural element at work. They're saying that these murders are being done by the ghost of Alcantra. Oh my god, they said the name of the game! And achievement! Finish the prologue. Yay! And now we go back 10 years into the past. This is the day after the, This is the day after the fireworks show. I woke up at a bright and early noon 30. I'm not the only one that says noon 30. Aha! 30 the day after the festival. I had a groggy staring contest with my ceiling, glanced around my messy room that needed to be clean, and headed down to eat breakfast. Or brunch. Whatever meal label my mother would sarcastically give. Quick search real quick. This game isn't bad. It's pretty interesting. I too become a murder suspect after having amnesia. No, I like it so far. Oh man. I will say, it's definitely interesting. I haven't seen a visual novel in a really, really long time due to the real background that has like the filter over it. It gives me those old like 2010 visual novel vibes, and it's really interesting. I don't know. Also, I like that there's a sarcastic meal comment. There. I guess is it the same POV when moms are just like, oh yeah. Leopard. Alright, Jimmy, it's time for Lupper. What about 11Z's or second breakfast? Are those... I wonder, are those, like, copyrighted? I hope not. 11Z's is really funny. Just walk up at, like, 10:30. It's like, yo, we have an 11's today, and we're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, it's noon 30, so it's not 11's. So is it second breakfast or like first lunch? Don't know. I trudged down the stairs to the kitchen, but stopped when I heard whispering. My mom and dad were chatting with Uncle Kyle around our dining table, but rather than the boisterous wall of noise expected the arrival of a relative to cause, the trio spoke in hushed tones. They obviously didn't want me to hear what they were talking about. Something was up. Uncle Kyle was a detective, and he wouldn't show up unannounced unless something had happened. Knowing they would shut up if I joined them at the table, I crept at the bottom of the stairs to eavesdrop. Oh shit! Yo, our dad looks like the main character of like Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura's our dad? Mom, was it that bad, Kyle? I could see everyone from where I was hiding. Uncle Kyle just nodded glumly and looked into his coffee mug like it contained a dead dog inside it. Uncle Kyle is my mom's brother. All three of them went to Alcantra. My parents stuck around the area like many people growing up here do, but Uncle Kyle took the more exciting route and left for the big city. Both my parents work as school teachers, but when something exciting happens, a state detective is called to investigate, and Uncle Kyle has shown up several times over the years. His first case was dealing with a serial sock stealer, but a murder in Alcantra? This must be a first for him. Next was based on my engineer skin from Deep Rock Galactic. Oh, I see it. Oh yeah, because I had that Hawaiian skins for them. Right. That's really cool. Also, it's not figuring for like an engineer main. Me and my friends usually just play driller. And, well, you know how that goes. All it takes is one. Yeah, it was a nasty piece of work. Never seen a murder like it. The body was cut up into pieces. Each limb was severed from the main body and then cut into several more pieces. They were placed in various locations in the house. They were meal prepping them. You rock the engineer, or gunner if the team requires. Yeah, sometimes I'll play scout if we have too many drillers, but... I get to attach to the C4. And then I accidentally blow up my friends. The head was taken off and placed in front of the door so it'd be the first thing you'd see when you entered the house. The main torso had a litany of stab wounds. Tell you what, I've been doing this for a while now, and none of the murders in the city I worked on were this bad. I nearly threw up looking at the blood all over the place. Mrs. Johnson is downright traumatized. I don't blame her. Not Mr. Johnson! No! His ice cream! With Johnson, the ice cream stall lady, if she's traumatized, she must have been the one to discover the body, or what was left of it. If she discovered the body, who was murdered, my question was answered immediately. Oh! That's why she didn't show up. Poor Marina. I can't believe someone would do that to her. They took advantage of the festival to turn her into meal-prepped pieces. That's not... Why? Marina. That must be Marina Radek, the lady who was supposed to help out at the ice cream stall yesterday. So that's why she didn't show up. I guess Mrs. Johnson discovered the body while going to check up on her. Wasn't she supposed to be at the Johnson stall last night, so the murder happened later that night then? No, she never showed up for the summer festival. She was killed in the afternoon. Killer was bold to do it during the day. Must have been banking on everyone in the neighborhood being at the festival. It was bad luck there were no witnesses. No signs of a break-in either. All the doors were locked except for the front door, and the person didn't show any signs of being tampered with. It's likely that Marina knew the person who killed her and she let them in herself. The festival starts at 10 a.m. and is in full swing by the afternoon. Given how big a deal the festival is, the whole town shows up for it. If the murderer was later in the afternoon or early in the evening, there's a good chance the majority of the neighborhood would be at the festival. Who would she know that would do such a thing? Uncle Kyle just shrugged. I don't know, but whoever they are, they must really hate her. My father leaned in expectantly. So Kyle, any leads or clues then? Nothing obvious, no witnesses, nothing left at the scene besides the body. Right now, we're looking into people acquainted with her that might have a motive. I just realized. Uncle Kyle kinda looks like the Dark Island kahuna. I was like, oh yeah, he looks like the Dark Kahuna from Pokemon Sun and Moon, and you're just like, hi, mommy. What the fuck? Oh no. The Jima. That makes so much sense. I see it. Makes so much sense. It's pretty well liked, so there can't be that many people with big enough grudge to do something like this. We'll start with the usual. Family members, past history lovers, colleagues. I believe that. Oh wait, there was a comment. It's going good. Suspects? Just a few. Oh. Hey there, Delilah. Loving Smith of the Classy Jack had a very public fight with her a few days ago. Professor Kasha clearly had a thing for her that never worked out. Oh no. Oh no. Beryl Johnson had an affair with Marina's ex-husband, and of course there's the Thorns. She used to work for them. Uncle Kyle sat at his coffee. Oh, there's a lot there, actually. Holy! I've been here since last night. I haven't slept a wink since I got the call. Guessing it won't be the only sleepless night. Why'd I become a detective? That was a fairly alarming thing for the detective on the case to say, but my parents didn't seem to care. Real. What was she arguing about with Delilah? The new tourism proposal. I can read. This one's interesting. There's an amnesiac, there's a murder case, there's a motorcycle. Is this the same? No, it's a different one. They're 10 years apart. And anything to do with the new proposal puts the Thorne family under suspicion. The family is currently our #1 suspect. So I can't imagine that would make your investigation easy. You've got that right. They're like the mayor or like a mob family? That makes me think that they're related to like the mayor or they run the neighborhood like an advanced HOA. This will be a pain. The Thorns resided a mansion in the southwest parts of town on a hill that overlooks the business district. To call them influential around here would be an understatement. Okay, so they are like the town people. Ah, that makes a lot of sense. They are Alcantra, quite literally. The descendants of Alistair Thorne, the past leader who changed the town name to Alcantra, they originally gained influence from mining and commodizing the copper found to the north of Alcantra. While the copper mines hadn't been operational for a long time, they incorporated the fishing and logging area offered into their business endeavors and remained the financial focus of Alcantra. The speak of money in Alcantra is the speak of the Thorne family. So they played Monopoly better than everyone else, and now they're rubbing it in. Given how much money they have, you can imagine how much power they have. They run this town shortly after it was founded in the 1850s, and they run it now. I say they, but the Thorne family only consists of 2 people and the staff who work for them. The Thorns themselves consist of Elgar Thorne, who is to be 1 trillion years old, and his son Blade. Dina Thorne, the wife of Elgar, died 18 years ago. Elgar is an old stick that nobody likes, which is just as well because nobody sees him anymore. He keeps himself cooped up in their mansion. Blade is the public face of the family, and he's the funny, friendly, charismatic dude. Blade and Edgar actually disagree on a lot of stuff, including the recent tourism proposal, which is Elgar's idea. Alcantra's going through a sort of civil war, or as close to a civil war as a town in 5,000 can get. I guess Elgar decided that the influence of the family could always be improved, so he proposed a tourism group meant to promote the locals of Alcantra. Oh, so he wanted more money, so he wanted to open it up to tourism. Alcantra is separated from a nearby town called Hamatra by a canal, and the lift bridge that crosses the canal has been quite the reputation. Of course, most of the locals enjoy utilizing the canal, and it becomes a tourist destination that would put a major damper on local recreational activities. It's not a popular idea amongst a lot of the folk, even though others think it could be a great way to bring people to Alcantra given our dwindling population. Blade has voiced his disinterest towards the idea, which means the Thorne family itself is split on the issue. Why would the Thorns want to get rid of Marina? Marina wasn't involved with the tourism proposal. An affair. Don't be naive, honey. You can't trust that family. She worked for someone in the past, and you just know that they have skeletons in their closet. I bet they killed her to shut up about something. And that would make the proposal go awry. No doubt Vlade and Unger are working together. If Vlade voices his dissent, it makes the Thorn family seem not as bad as a whole, and if Vlade takes over soon anyway, it's best if he looks good to the locals. Gardelia's probably right. We don't know why they'd want to kill Marina, but we have to be suspicious. If it was the Thorn family, it probably wouldn't be Elgar or Vlade who did the actual killing. But they'd be just as guilty. They have plenty of connections and enough money to convince other people to do the dirty work. Marina knew plenty of people, and I'm sure some of those people could be bought even for murder. This gives me, like, the same vibes as the Adelson case. By how he's describing it. He's describing it as, like, the Adelson case. Tiberius. You don't know, there's like a recent murder thing that happened where this semi-wealthy family paid to have this lady's ex-husband murdered, and they tried to frame it on the guy they had her date. It's giving me, the way they're talking about it gives me such similar vibes to that. Trying to find those trails is where we'll start. Of course, getting the Thorns to cooperate is not going to be a whole lot of fun. Uncle Kyle gave a massive yawn and then made to get up from his seat. That was my cue. I quickly crept back up the stairs and then stomped down loudly as I could to conceal my eavesdropping. When I reached the kitchen, the adults were all trying to pretend like they hadn't been discussing a murder. I thought I could hear Uncle Kyle talking, so I rushed down. What happened? Oh, you know, we're just having a lively discussion about a wonderful summer day. Oh, sure. So Uncle Kyle came all this way to talk about the weather? Sure did. You know, I wanted to be a meteorologist as a kid. Uncle Kyle and my dad looked at my mom like she was an idiot, which she sometimes was. I did not want to be a meteorologist. My dad looked kind of hurt. I'm the one who wanted to be a meteorologist. Oh, really? You think I'd remember that? Right, you'd think you would. I would. What the fuck? Bad wife. How dare you forget your husband's dreams and aspirations? Wow. Ow. More important things to remember is crazy. When your husband's like, you forgot my dreams and aspirations? Wow. More important than your husband. That's what Wow. Uncle Kyle ignores my parents and did his best to put on a serious face, which just made him look even more tired than usual. And he was always tired. Nick, I'm sorry I have to say this, but there was a murder yesterday. Marina Ragnick was the one who was killed. I'm investigating the case currently. Did my best to put on a shocked face. Shocked Pikachu. Really? A murder? In Alcantra? Yeah, but don't worry. We'll get it figured out. So, any investigation details you can tell me? Couldn't hurt to try. Maybe it's feeling talkative. Perhaps I could learn some more than I learned from eavesdropping. Absolutely not, Nicholas Fox. Your mother is right. Uncle Kyle smiled a bit. Sorry, Nick. I'm gonna have to keep quiet on this for now. Give a big yawn. Well, I'm gonna try and get some sleep while I can. I've got a long couple of weeks ahead of me trying to convince the powerful family to admit their wrongdoing. I went upstairs to get his well-deserved rest. My mother gave me my brunch bacon, which I inhaled. I wondered how the rest of the town was reacting to the news. It's hard to imagine routine life here being disturbed by anything, but if something could do it, it'd be murder. My dad cleared his throat. Nick, your mother and I discussed it earlier. We've decided it's okay for you to hang out in town like you normally do. That said, we'd like you to be a little cautious out there. Honestly, your dad is such a worrywart. Can't hide in our houses, but best we can do is keep on living. What are you guys gonna do today then? I'm probably gonna go see Walburton and Terrence. My mom made a face at that. Them again? You see them nearly every day. Why don't you go hang out with Jenny? Oh, they want him to get a girlfriend already. Jenny's our neighbor and longtime friend of mine. I basically never see her anymore because basketball has consumed her life. Just basketball, Mom. What about that girl you dated a while back? What was her name again? Gardelia. Jennifer was 3 years ago. We broke up a long time ago, Mom. We dated for like 3 weeks. She was such a nice girl. She cheated on me. Only one. Oh, Ma'am, I think you need to stop watching reality TV. Cheating is like a cardinal sin. Because I broke up with her. I shook my head in exasperation. Any reason it's gotta be girls, Mom? She wants grandchildren. There it is. You dang fangled grandbabies. I want grandchildren. Honey, he's 7. Don't you start asking for grandkids when your kids turn 20? And then you wait till they're 30? So 3 years of dating, then marriage, and 3 kids. He needs to get moving. Howard Fox, you and I will soon be ancient history and have nothing to show for it because we're both school teachers who don't make any money. We need Vic to make something of his life and get a family and kids. I told you that you should have finished the masters. And I should have dated the ed- Oh! I don't like her. You mean Tim? Oh, he's in jail now, didn't you hear? Mom let out a dramatic gasp. No shit, for real? I rolled my eyes, but I could do worse for parents. I finished up my food and got ready and headed out to see if Walburn and Terrace were willing to hang out. I waved goodbye to them and let them gossip about Tim, the engineer. I guess the engineer is not here. Neither Walburn nor Terrace live particularly close to me, but that's not a particularly big deal in Alcantra. On bike, it takes about half an hour to get from one end of town to the other. We have a little urban area with a Walmart and stuff towards the south part of town, and a classy old-school downtown area more towards the northeast, but the pride of Alcantara is our canal from past the downtown area. Walburn and Terrace both live as neighbors in the middle of town. I live pretty close to the business district at the southern end of town, so I passed quite a few people along the way. It seemed like it was business as usual. I guess people felt like my mom did. Shouldn't people be more disturbed about a murder happening here? And not everyone was calm. The first thing out of Walburton's mouth when I showed up at the house was this. Dude, holy shit, did you hear? Never mind, obviously you heard. Mrs. Rage must be staying with you. Mr. Rage must be staying with you. Do you have any details? This is wild, man. King and we stand for him in his house. We stand for Walburton here. He's so excited. I did know some details, but I probably shouldn't tell Walburton. There's no doubt he'd spill everything I told him to everyone he knows. I didn't want to get Uncle Kyle in trouble. That's so real. That's when you tell him that the killer was secretly a fly. Sorry, man. Don't know anything other besides Marina Radek being murdered. Damn, I figured you'd say that, but I had to ask. I asked my dad about it, and he said his 30 years of living in Alcantra, he'd never heard of anything like this happening. We talked about the incident some. Walburton must have been really rattled. We talked about pretty much everything, from the weather to relationships to the fragility of human existence. But with Walburton, he usually always comes back around to sports. He loves sports. Unfortunately, the universe did not love him as much as he loves sports. He's around 5'4", quite chubby, but he does his best with what he's got. We stand a king. I've been thinking about Miss Radek. I'm pretty sure she has a daughter in the area. She's been in Alcantra a long time, though she and her husband split some years back. And he lives somewhere else now. I'm thinking her name was... Alicia? Yeah, that's the daughter's name. I think she's still in the area. I hope she's doing okay. Someone should go pay her a visit. Make sure she's safe and let her know we're all here for her. He gave me a tap on the shoulder. I know the brainy girls ain't up for detective work, but you let Mr. Rage know that he should keep an eye out on Alicia. Might be a vendetta against the family. I told him I would. Wilbert is pretty popular in school. I attribute it to his heart of gold. He's a funny dude, but he's also a genuinely kind guy. Terrace likes to call us the optimist pair. Heck yeah. Well, Wilbert and I are pretty cheery guys, but he's better at the cheery thing than me. He's a glass half full kind of dude, but the type that would just pour more water in the glass if he thought it looked empty. Real. Well, I'm a glass half full kind of dude, but because I'm a believer, he's a realist. I'm a romantic. You want to hang out some? I know you're always looking for an excuse to get fit and impress Jenny. Wilbert and Grimace! Does he really want to date someone who cheated on his friend? Sorry, man. Promised my mom I'd help over some chores. Next time for sure. I told him no problem was on my way. I started on my way to Terrace's place next. Walburn and Terrace are polar opposites. They say opposites attract for romantic partners, but I think it's more likely that's true in the case of friends. Walburn and I have been friends for as long as I can remember, but sometime in middle school, Walburn adopted Terrace to our friend group. Oh, okay. My bad. Right, Jenny and Jennifer. like since they fought with each other all the time, but I guess somewhere along the line they found respect for each other from all those fights. Yo, let's go! When I read the terrorist list, the first thing he brought up was the murders, just like Walburton. Dude, he's got the I rip my own jeans aesthetic. Hell yeah. So your uncle is staying with you? Yep. Know any details? Nope. Figures. What's the point of being connected if you can't take advantage of it? Tell Mr. Rage he's not doing a very good job at being a corrupt cop. When he does become a corrupt cop? You send him my way and I'll do my best to learn. He just wants to be a corrupt cop. That's great. I'll let him know. Wait, since when did you want to become a cop? I don't. Ew, but I'd like to be corrupt for sure. Small places like this, hard to make anything for yourself here. Try to make a helpful suggestion. You can be a good person and make something for yourself. There's that's some bullshit and you know, good people ain't becoming successful. He's so real. Oh my god, he's so real. Well, I guess I shouldn't root for you to rise to the top then. He shook his head at my not understanding his ambition. Still, I wonder what's up with the killer for the Radek case. Word is that the murder was absolutely brutal. I wonder what must go through the head of someone willing to do something like that. Tara's like to psychoanalyze. While Bird is his favorite subject, he thinks that boy has issues. I'm guessing the killer is a psychopath. You know, doesn't think about the right or wrong in the same way most people do. I don't think that's going on with this case. This sort of murders... Oh. I didn't even see the ads. I like the characters so far. I like them a lot. I was not expecting the corrupt cop, though. Hell yeah. We stand terrorists. It also looks like he knows something. What do you know? What do you know, sir? Poke's head, it's like, what are your secrets? Tell me your secrets! This actually reminds me, I met a person who dressed really similar one time. And they had gone on this whole rant about how edgy was the way and how they don't like that prissy music stuff. And so, cue me walking into the bathroom that same day, and I'm hearing them listening to like the most upbeat K-pop I've ever heard. I don't know who made the song, but like I caught them in the middle of the K-pop listening, and they dropped everything and ran out of the bathroom. I don't think that's going on with this case. Instead of murders to space screams to me that the killer was trying to send a message, or that this was some sort of fucked up therapy for the killer. Seems so personal for the work of a psychopath. His analysis made it to seem like Dr. Kashak, who had a thing for Marina Radek, or Beryl Johnson, who had an affair with Marina Radek's ex-husband, were most likely candidates. Here's being as goth as he is was a complete accident. The artist we hired got a flash of inspiration when we rolled with it. Real. I mean, I feel like it fits. I feel like it fits. I feel like it fits with Walburton being how he is. They're like that odd friend duo that you don't normally expect, but then you see and you really like. I think it's some cliche like killing for love. Probably. Gotta be something like that. Dude, she's like 60. Do old people still fall in love? Of course, you idiot. Anyway, I doubt it was the person who recently fell in love with her. I'm guessing it was someone who loved her a long time. That sort of brutality screws to me. If I can't have you in life, I'll have you in death. Must be someone who thinks they don't have much longer to live. Seems a little out there. I let Terrace rant about how love destroys people's minds for a little longer than left. Me too. Afterwards, I went to a bike along the canal front. It's my favorite thing to do during the summer because of the way the breeze feels coming off the canal. We have plenty of trails, but biking on trails takes more effort. If you just want to go get lost in your thoughts, the boardwalk along the canal is the place to do it. The news of the murders had occupied my thoughts most of the day, but as my mind wandered while I biked, they wandered back to last night, to the strange girl named Alexandria. It's not every day you meet someone like that. She was a little weird, sure, but she definitely seemed like she could be fun, too. Just as the thought crossed my mind, there she was, sitting in a gazebo with the same sad look and regal posture from yesterday. I guess she had a thing for looking across the canal sadly. I biked over, figured that a shared fireworks viewing established a good enough reason to be at least stop and say hello. I set the kickstand from my bike and walked up to her. What's up, Alexandra? Funny seeing you here again today. I thought that maybe we'd begun to break the ice a little bit, but upon hearing my voice, she turned around with a panicked look, which slowly turned into a judgmental sort of frown that indicated her displeasure that I dared disrupt her solitude. Okay, I guess the ice was still there. While not every fireworks viewing results in a lasting friendships, the potential ephemerality of our everyday encounters makes them all the more meaningful. So I rationalized as I thought of a good way to make a tactical retreat and leave her alone. Before I could figure out how to do that, she greeted me coldly. Hello, Nick. Well, at least you remembered my name. You, like looking at the canal? She nodded. The ensuing silence between us made the tactical retreat look appealing once again. You're visiting the area, right? If so, there's a nice waterfall area across the bridge. She scowled at that. That's none of your business. Guessing you still don't have a last name? Not for you to hear, anyway. Yep, let's get out of here. I was being nosy thinking that every lonely person needed to be talked to. Well, it was good to see you, but I better be heading out. I made to leave, but she stopped me with an outburst. Wait, Nick. Did you hear about the murder last night? Yeah, of course. Well, I'm new to the area, and I might be around for a while. I heard Alcantra was pretty safe, but then a murder happens. Pretty crazy, right? It was you! I'm just kidding. It is crazy. Something like this hasn't happened in a long, long time. Isn't your uncle the detective working on the case? Didn't she just say she was new to the area? And how do you know that? She smiled at that. I got my connections. Oh my goodness. That's not much of an answer. Everyone has heard of the Foxes and the cool detective guy who shows up occasionally. So the people you're staying with told you. Something like that. Dad and my family was as well known as she claimed we were, but I saw no reason to hide the fact. Yes, my uncle is a detective on the case, and no, I can't give you any details. But what does this have to do with anything? She stood up and made an extremely exaggerated gesture for arms that I couldn't interpret. She was trying to make herself look impressive. Well, not to brag or anything, but it's somewhat a detective aficionado. Basically the shut-in loner girl version of Sherlock Holmes. What? The sort of sentence did not match the Alexandria I had in mind. Are you telling me that you're going to catch the murderer? She waved her hand. Oh, no, absolutely not. That sounds dangerous, which sounds like something I wouldn't do. No, I'm going to offer you a deal, though. She pointed her finger at me. Uh-oh. I take it you're well acquainted with this town? Oh, no. Very. Then she pointed a finger at herself. Then we will have pitiable old me, a girl with no friends all alone in a strange new land. She's kind of quite the actress. Never would have guessed it of her. But this lovely girl harbors deep within herself a keen intellect honed through years of solitude. Surely her powers of deduction could be used to help the local tragedy that has recently struck this town. Then she pointed towards the heavens, which were blocked from us by the roof of the gazebo. I attempted my most exaggerated, exasperated sigh. You did mention you like mystery novels. You really think you could help? Maybe a little. Uh-huh. So you want to play Sherlock? Well, I'm sorry, but I doubt the little weird girl without a last name and no stated residency help with the investigation. She laughed, which was the first time I'd heard her do it. No, probably not. I wouldn't blame them, but I've got a deal for you. If you show me around town, I'll give you my thoughts on the murder. If you think they're helpful, you relate them to Mr. Rage. I think it's the town's best interest that the culprit is apprehended as soon as possible. I couldn't believe this girl. She really came up with this convoluted setup to ask me to show her around? What was her game? Was this a play to try and make a friend, or was there something she was hoping to get from me? Is this an excuse to try and make friends? No, it's a mutually beneficial offer. You know, it would have been fine to be like, oh, I'm new around here. Could you show me around? I'd really appreciate it, or something like that. That's absurd. But as a stranger, something like that. I'm not a stranger. We met yesterday. Of course, and to repay the kind of hospitality you showed yesterday, which I have requested you show me in the future, I've offered you the extent of my intellectual capabilities. I see. I shook my head. I was still suspicious, but what ulterior motive could she really have? There was really nothing she could gain by hanging out with me besides being friends with me. I decided I would take her up on her offer. Sure thing, Alexandria. You've got yourself a deal. I'll show you around town and you'll solve the mysterious murder of Alcantra. She nodded like that, and it was the obvious conclusion to come to. Smiled, but stuck out her hand. Not tongue. We have a deal then. We sure do. I shook her hand. Okay, let's hear it, great detective Alexandria. What do you make of the murder? She shook her head at me. No rushing things. I need time to synthesize the information. Don't worry. I know you said you can't tell me anything, but I have plenty to work with for what was reported to be today. Excuse me. Reported in the news. So you're saying you want to explore town first? Yep. Isn't the phrase ladies first? Yeah, we should listen to me first, and I say I should learn about Alexandria. Couldn't argue with that, so I walked over to my bike, kicked up the stand, and started making my way to downtown, which is pretty close to the canal front. She followed a couple steps behind me. I think downtown would be a great place to start, given how close it is. And it's kind of historical, if you're in that sort of thing. Is there anything a sheltered sort of princess like you is dying to experience? Princess? Princess. Turned around, she had a big smile on her face and was a little red. I rolled my eyes. That wasn't meant to be a compliment. What? For someone who's so quick to barge responses, she didn't seem to be all that acquainted with sarcasm. Is she from Germany? Because I was told by Father every time he goes to Germany that they're not great with sarcasm. Well, the way you hold yourself is very regal. Most people don't care about their posture. Plus, no offense, you can be a little strange. Like you're learning how to talk to people and don't have prior experience. To top it off with your more mysterious qualities, like now you're telling me your last name and stuff. That's a good point. You're onto something. I'll settle for being a princess. I had no idea what I was on to. She had bounded ahead a couple paces from me, a marked change in demeanor and compared to our previous interactions. Let's make this clear while we're on the subject. There are some topics that are off limits. My last name is one of them. Where I'm from and where I'm staying is another. Personal inquiries about my state of mind are also not allowed. Lastly, you cannot ask me about my family. She sure was demanding, but I was getting used to it at this point. Okay, that's fair. Well, I'll ask about those things then. What's the year of school you're in? She seemed amused by that. I was homeschooled. That explained a lot. And I'm 18. I guess I graduated from high school by now. The way she worded it was a little strange. Being homeschooled meant that you didn't get to graduate. Wow, I never would have guessed you're older than me. I'm older? I'm 17. Huh. Now as you're older, you better start treating me with some respect. With age comes wisdom, after all. Oh no. I put a lot of faith in that 1 year she had on me. I realized we had gotten derailed from my original question. I got the feeling this was going to happen a lot. This is literally what I did to Mesman. So back on topic. Anywhere besides downtown you're craving to see? She thought about it for a minute. How about Walmart? Seriously? You never been to Walmart? She shook her head. Maybe she was a princess. Maybe an extremely religious type who avoided industrial society. We had some of those types around here. We can go to Walmart then. It's across town, so maybe we can do it another time. There's a lot of smaller shops in the town that have way higher quality stuff. He okay? Sir, or ma'am, are you okay? What happened? When we got to the downtown area, I started to explain a little history of town. And I knew. She brushed me off. She already knew it on way better than I did. That bummed me out a little. I love the story behind the summer festival. That's why I was there last night. What do you love about it? I like how hopeful the story is. Alcantra and Alistair's love transcended the grave. Figured you'd be such a romantic. I ignored that I liked that part of the story too. Of course I am. Everyone who loves stories has to be a little bit of a romantic. You read a lot then? I sure do. Lots and lots of books. We went to a coffee shop. According to Alexandria, it was her first time in a coffee shop. I was beginning to worry more and more that she belonged to a repressively religious family. Was it okay to be doing this? If her parents found out, maybe they were going to execute us for heretical premarital behavior, like going to coffee shops without parental supervision. Real? Alexandria was petrified when it came to ordering coffee. She cowered behind me and tried to telepathically communicate what she wanted, and it gave me lots of grief when I got her order wrong. Just told me what you wanted, the hazelnut flavor. Sadly, I threw her cup of plain black coffee, reminding me of Uncle Kyle. Then I would have to talk. And? Talking is hard. Hopefully it would get easier for her over time. I drank my strange raspberry flavored coffee, which was kind of gross. She drank her plain black coffee, which she said was pretty good. We headed to the antique shop next. It was a trip that lasted 1 minute. She walked in, looked on the toy boats, and promptly walked out. I chased after her. Hey, what up? There wasn't even any people in there. See the price on that boat? How could they charge such exorbitant rates? No, I didn't see the price because you walked out immediately. How much was it? $19.95 for that pitiable little boat. That was a bit high for a toy boat. Real. It's an antique shop meant for tourists, trying to get people to spend lots of money. Well, I'm rich, but I'm not buying anything from the shop out of principle. You're rich? Figure of speech. Was it? Do you know anything about the economy? Not really, no. We headed off our next destination, which was the library. Well, it depends. Does the toy need batteries? Because if so, that's a really good price. I figured since she liked reading, maybe she had a good time here, but she told me that her home had a massive library, maybe she really was rich. Oh my god. Okay, never mind. That's really overpriced. What the heck? Oh yeah, I forgot this was like 50 years ago. Almost. Yeah, wait, no. 40, right? 40 to 50 years ago. Flipping around books anyway. I've read most of them. What is inflation? There's no way you've read most of them. She raised an eyebrow at me. Don't challenge friendless people to games that can demonstrate their amount of free time. That's so real. I walked up to the hardest looking books, which I immediately decided by looking for the biggest ones that looked old. Okay, tell me the plot of this one. She promptly proceeded to tell me the plot of every book I picked. So, now I'm spoiled on War and Peace, Crime and Punishment, Moby Dick, Great Expectations, Anna Karenina, Ulysses, and Don Quixote. Unless she made up plots for each of them, which would have been even more impressive. I was gonna have to get my guard up around her. She clearly was much, much smarter than I was. What books do you read, Nick? I don't read books. I figured I couldn't bluff my way out of this one, so I headed to the comic book section. I grabbed a couple of issues I was interested in and then returned to face Alexandria. She gave me the most pitying look I'd ever seen. Like she was looking at a cat that was so dumb it was eating its own tail. I wilted on the spot and returned to the comic books to their original location. And that's all the time I have with this one. This one's really, really good. I'm definitely going to be adding this one to the ones to finish as well. This is really, really interesting so far. Thank you so much, Captain Erica, for letting me play. I really, really enjoyed it. I will definitely be continuing this in the future. This time. And then we are going to raid Goofy Vibesy. Thank you all for coming. Please check out this game on Steam. The Ghost of Alcantra. Very, very good. Highly recommend. Oh, and it just closes. Nice. Will do. So we're gonna go tell Vibesy he's stinky. Please check out both Ghost of Alcantra and Spell Candle on stream, as well as every other game in the Steam Fallen Love Fest. Thank you guys so much. I now must cause irreversible damage to everyone on Irium. I'm yes. I will be back after the Irium stream, hopefully. We'll see. Have a good night, everyone. Yeet! Oh, man.